attack ships burning off the what now? Sea beams Nah, man, no, not out here. Are you kidding me? We get pumped for a fresh shipment of glutamates and fabricator goo. And bug hunts, damn, every day's another bug hunt out here. You don't even want to know what the risers did to the rats, okay? Peace is a lie? No. I met him. He works at Genevieve's place in Tivoli. I'll introduce you. Fear is the mind killer, though. That's the point. I know a guy who can hook you up with a clean source, no problem, friend. And let me tell you, we got emotion. We got ignorance. We got passion, chaos, and death in every flavor of the rainbow. So, whether you're looking to gas up quick and get going, or you mean to stay a while, listen, we threw open the pod bay doors. We want you here. You didn't need to bring a poet. We want you just as you are. Welcome to the drop. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for session 1 of The Drop. And we're here, we're an actual play on Happy Jacks Network. To catch up on past episodes, you can't for this episode, but for other shows, go to happyjacks.org/name of the show, or just go to happyjacks.org and you can find everything you want to know about our stuff. I am your ringleader, Jason, and we are playing something that could generously be called a Traveller something, and that's close enough. Why don't we start on this end? Clara, who are you, and how did you get in here?
There's a side gate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Hi, I'm Clara. I'm playing Yrsa Aven, a bodyguard by day, a prize fighter by night, and just a sweetie all around. And I feel like... I'm sorry, there are people in this room with me. Like, roll close. I'm freaking out a little bit. Also, hi, Joey, I love you.
Hi. We'll get you for that after.
I know. Do you want to introduce
Joey,
am I going next? I wasn't sure if we're bouncing back and forth or not. Okay. Hi, I'm Joey, and clearly based on my makeup, you can see I'm playing the pastor on this station. Just kidding. I am playing Maximillian, Max Ego, the celebrity on The Drop. And yeah, he's the voice of the entire station. He's the biggest celebrity. He is everybody's best friend or worst enemy, depending on his mood that day. So good luck, Godspeed. And don't piss him off. Thanks, bye.
Nick?
Hey, my name is Nick. I am playing Sacha, Balabanov. He is a scavenger pilot who is very happy to be starting his own business with a bunch of people who may or may not be a positive net in the help of scavenging, and just trying to keep himself flying and around in this lovely little place we call the Ring.
And I'm Michelle Otis, and I'm going to be playing Charity Constance, but everybody calls her Cece. And Cece is a mechanic extraordinaire. She lives for building things, fixing things, usually has a wrench in her hand and grease on her face, and that's the way she likes it. Even though friends try to get her out to Tivoli Gardens every once in a while, she's not one for dressing up much. She'll do it if she has to. But for the most part, she wants to be elbows deep into an engine.
Awesome. I'm so glad Nick said the last name out loud because I haven't heard it out loud before right now, and I wasn't real sure. Balabanov.
Yes.
Do 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 do.
Balabanov.
Son of a...
Do do do.
All right. Changing my name. It's...
Good. Great series, everyone. Thanks. We're going to call it a wrap.
That's a wrap.
We're good, yeah.
We did it, Twitch.
We did it.
Got it in one.
Mission accomplished.
All right. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. This is episode 1. We've done all the heavy lifting of character creation and the breaking of Traveller. Really, don't hold us too closely to the Traveller meter stick, because I broke it. And that was the plan. I definitely did it on purpose, and everything's fine. Yeah. I'm not sure the last time I ran a game rules as written, and, here we are. So, the things we have left to do tonight are some final little tidbits of the character sheets, and then our character connections to solidify a little bit. So, to kick things off, let's go through and resolve anything that wasn't quite resolved during character creation. If there's shopping stuff we need to do, then we'll jump into a round of Decima made by our friend Kimmy. And you can check that out at goldenlassogames.com, I think. Oh, God. Somebody drop that in chat for me. Thanks. Love you, chat. You're so good. That is... that's our plan so far. We'll see how much of that we get through, and then hopefully get to some storytelling as well. So, we had a couple people who finished their character stuff offline in our Slack. So there were some character connections that needed to happen there with various events that were happening. Who has open character events that we want to check?
I do.
Okay, let's start with that. This hat is really hecking hot. Kimmy, thank you so much for lending me this hat. It has made it 7 minutes into the stream, and I can't. So.
We knew you will.
So I didn't know, have we defined, names of these contacts and stuff? Because I didn't do that for anybody.
No, we haven't done that.
either.
Contacts are wide open. We're going to need to do that.
Okay. I can put this off to the side.
Well, I think we might need to keep an ear on that in case I eat my microphone again, because that's a thing that I do.
No worries. I can have sweaty ears. That's fine. So, I have a completely unresolved contact that is related to CC. I have a contact that I acquired during a diplomatic meeting that I was a part of that took place at one of Yrsa's pit fights.
Okay. Well, let's just go through one at a time. So, contact from a diplomatic visitor to the ring was probably not a government diplomat, but maybe somebody from higher up the Rise Corp. So our setting is a ring station built around a black hole. We live on the outside of this ring, not the inside. It's not a rotating ring. We live on the outside and use the gravity of the tiny black hole in the middle to pull us onto the surface of the ring. It works. The main thing that got us here is Rise Corp. This company came out to research this extremely tiny black hole that shouldn't exist in this size. And they're trying to figure out what caused it, how does it work, why is it changing, why is it changing. But in this star system, well, X star system, because there's no more star here, there are a number of broken planets and asteroids and all kinds of things that make it incredibly valuable. So as the researchers were researching, a community of people grew up around them and sort of accreted to their location and eventually built the ring in full. And so that is where this whole thing came up. And until a little bit ago, it was just a lonely, out-of-the-way company town for I think we'd said is about 100 years old, something like that. The ring, by the way, is 100 kilometers across, which makes it 314 kilometers around. And that's it. That's the whole thing. If Rise wants to do something, their quarter of the ring, they're totally in control of it. This is where the greenhouses and fancy stuff are. But they would certainly send higher up executives, so maybe not literally a diplomat, but a high up executive who wants to know what's happening. The thing about coming to Rise, we don't have jump drives coming to the Draupnir station. We don't have jump drives. In the galaxy, there are several star systems that have a jump sphere. You go into the sphere, and hopefully you're pointed at another sphere, and you'll come out of that one. Otherwise, you can perform what's called a wild jump, where you kind of point in the direction you want to go, calculate your velocity, and whoop, just sort of slingshot, and hopefully land about where you wanted to get. Anyone who wants to come visit Draupnir Station has to do a wild jump. And to get home is 10 years of slow travel. So you've got, everyone sleeps. I mean, slow travel is not wildly uncommon because we don't have jump drives. People do it. But if an executive is sent out here to visit, they've probably done something wrong. Which means that might be somebody interesting for you to meet, Nick. Cool, great night. Sorry, there's, okay, let's leave that out. Something's in chat. That's a little bit of a mess. So, Nick, this executive came out to check on Rise, ostensibly to do, reviews and performance reviews and whatever else, and they would want to be shown a good time while they're here. You got to drive them around a little bit, I think was the general
Yeah, I think
feel?
that's what we were saying, is that I worked a lot as sort of a chauffeur pilot for hire. While I was getting my nest egg together to start my own business. And his name was Richard Rankins.
Okay.
And he was he's a sort of a mid-high level exec who was here to check on R&D.
Okay.
Can you see one of the cameras got bumped? Do I need to adjust it, or is it fine?
Can you go back to... I think we're mostly okay.
You sure?
Maybe theirs could go towards Clara a little bit. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. Thank
can't
you.
see us. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, and the audience doesn't know that our studio gremlin came in. No, not gremlin. Stu is lovely, and he just came in to help us.
No, gremlin was the correct term.
Okay, so we've got Rankins, and was he, or were they part of? Is that the executive? Was this an assistant to the executive who was dragged out here? What's Rankin's story?
Well, it probably didn't hang out with him too much. He probably wouldn't associate with the common workforce the way that I've sort of crafted his backstory all of a sudden. But one of the reasons he was out there is because some of the R&D projects that had been in development had stalled out.
Okay.
And so he was there to kind of check up and kick some butt. But he also is a fan of the pugilistic arts, and so wanted to go see a match.
Aha. Rankins was.
Rankins was.
Yeah, okay.
So I think I probably liaisoned with his administrative assistant,
Okay.
whose name is...
Well, we've already got Rankins. That's a name. Let's go with Rankins.
Okay, all right.
Rankins is your contact, and is stuck here until they decide to take a 10-year trip home in a sleeper pod. But it's not awesome.
Right.
You still lose 10 years. There are a lot of people in our galaxy that are sort of out of sync with whatever, and they have to take a long trip home. Explorers will use a jump sphere to wild jump where they think, where astronomy has shown, ooh, there's probably some valuables over there. Maybe it looks like there might be another jump sphere. We've only ever found 6 spheres. So that gives us a relatively small galaxy to live in. Earth is not one of the systems with a jump sphere in it, so it's very remote. It takes something like whatever speed it was. It takes a few years to get to the closest system with a jump sphere. Yeah.
Wait, did we not make the jump spheres?
No.
We just found them and now we're using them.
Yeah, they're naturally occurring, and you looked into them enough to figure out how to go through them.
Okay, cool.
And we have found evidence of a 7th sphere, but all of the pioneers and explorers and drones and everything we've sent through that should have come back and reported are gone, lost at sea.
Okay.
No word. And Draupnir Station is the closest place physically to slow ride out to the 7th sphere. Whoever settles that sphere is immediately royalty. That would just be infinitely wealthy, and settling it is worth basically any risk. But nobody has come back yet. It's I think it's something like a 20-year slow journey from here. So people have just started showing up over the last few years. Plenty of people have gone on their way, but
It's just a big mouth.
Right.
we don't know. And it would be at least 20 years. Like if they got there, used the sphere to free jump back to Draupnir, which no one would, right? They would want to free or link jump to one of the like settled systems in a sphere system. But we would hear about that eventually. It's going to be 20 years if somebody gets there, finds the sphere, like, oh, those drones like crashed because the sphere is close to a star or something. Just totally innocent, nothing bad. No way we could have predicted, right? Who knows? They're just these naturally occurring things in space with no mass or like energy output. It's totally fine, whatever. But in that amount of time, somebody's going to get out there, be able to report back. Worst case scenario, it's going to take another 20 years to come back because they find out the sphere is unusable for some reason. Maybe it has sort of like merged with the star in that system, or like there's some like just something wrong with it. We're like, well, nobody should use this. It's very dangerous. But it's hard to imagine that being the case. Space is so big.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's all
It's
good.
only half a sphere.
Right?
There are definitely no space krakens eating our drones.
No.
That would be insane. Why would you say that?
Yeah.
See, yeah. I'm thinking of the progenitors who are like, hey, these things keep showing up at our...
Stop throwing your trash in these spheres.
Right.
Exactly.
That's not what this is for. You're misusing this privilege. But the short version is your characters are drop rats. You're born and raised on Draupnir Station. This is your home. Now, whether the story ends up being the four of you want to put a ship together and go out to see what 7 is up to, the other sphere is just called 7 until someone settles it, right? That is available to you, or we could just live our lives and deal with the just be townies and deal with the people coming through. I mean, Draupnir Station is popping off. Like, it is going big. So, the entertainment center's gone off. Just everything is really blown up. So, a little bit of sort of background and setting. I don't want to just load all of the background info all at once, so I'll just intersperse it and interrupt everyone as we go and, add information in a really uncoordinated, confusing fashion, so that nobody understands anything about the setting that I've invented.
That's the way I like it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, great.
I love this for all of us.
All right.
Plus side, it means we can just say whatever we want because it's all obviously true. It's
Oh,
connected
yeah.
in the backstory. Weren't you paying attention?
Yeah, we have carte blanche to make up everything and ruin Jason's world. I'm so excited.
Ruin my world. Let's see. What would that even look like?
Probably strict rules and regulations about what is and isn't possible.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh, no.
Oh!
Yeah.
Look, if I don't stab a ship at any point in this game, I'm going to be very
Oh,
disappointed.
this can be arranged because you missed your opportunity in the last game.
Yeah, but someone else did it for me.
Oh, that's true.
Someone
That's
needs
true.
to stab a ship. That's
Okay.
all I ask.
Noted. Okay, so the contact Rankins is it was the sort of attaché to the Rise exec who came out to sort of do performance review. Oh, yeah, they were the Bobs, right? I guess we should establish too a tone for the game. We talked about this a little bit before while we were making characters. We're not really looking for the like gonzo, silly, I'm trying to think of a media example of like goofy sci-fi though. Like it's not Galaxy Quest. Yeah,
you don't want Spaceballs?
Yeah, not Spaceballs, not Ice Pirates.
Red Dwarf.
Right. Yeah. But we're also not necessarily trying to do Battlestar Galactica like grimdark, right? We're going to try and find space in between there somewhere. Space.
I was wondering if we're going to avoid that pun.
Everybody loves that I said that. You know that everyone disliked that meme? That's me. Okay, so we've got one contact down.
I do.
If you have more, we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Michelle, do you have any, or Cece, do you have any contacts that we didn't resolve?
I have actually 3 contacts.
Oh, fantastic.
I thought that we would kind of make them up as we went into the story.
Sure.
I have 1 criminal contact.
Okay.
I have 1 ally, and then 1 just random contact.
That could be a fun way to do that. I'm sorry, I didn't think of that for Nyx, but what if we leave them as wild cards, and we get into a situation where we're meeting criminals or something? You're like, well, I have a criminal contact, so why don't we just make sure the blank contacts are categorized, and you could just play that card when you're ready. Does that make sense for everyone? Okay. Do you have any other open contacts?
I do. I have 2 other open contacts. One was related to Cece, so if I make that probably just another criminal contact.
Sure.
Fancy.
Yeah, I mean, and what constitutes a criminal on the drop is a little hazy. There is no sort of central government. There are no cops. There's that's not what we have here. There's private security, right? All of the clubs and casinos have their own security. The Rise quarter of the ring is extremely well secured because they have all the fanciest guns and armor and all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, what constitutes a criminal we'll sort of define as we go. But anything else on your docket?
The last thing I have is one with Max, which I figured would probably be a society contact.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Let's label that as is. Well, speaking of Max Ego.
Yes. How can I help you? Or how can you help me?
Yes, perfect. What open contacts do you have?
I have 2 contacts. They're not listed as a specific type. I was kind of hoping that they were related to one of my background things so I could check. And there was no information there in the book. So,
no. That's why we're not using it.
Yeah, 2 wildcard contacts.
Okay. That's great. Let's just leave that open. Okay. And in general, certainly a contact is going to be able to help you in some way, right? The book distinguishes, I think, between rivals and contacts. And then
allies and enemies.
A straight up ally is somebody who would really go to bat for you. A contact is somebody who is willing to help you if it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. And I'm fine with just kind of wild carding those in as needed. Okay. So
cool.
All right, that makes sense for that. And Claire's character's name is Yrsa. Yrsa.
I either took really bad notes or didn't roll up any contacts.
That's possible.
That is both are incredibly possible. I have terrible luck with the random generation of Traveller.
Well, let's also build on Yrsa's social skills. Maybe she didn't develop any contacts.
I was going to say, we have talked about Yrsa's backstory anyway,
yes.
So there's definitely people there.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah, we can sort of establish that. We can expand on that as needed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. All right. That is okay. So we had open contacts. Anyone with allies, enemies? I don't.
I have 1 ally.
Okay, 1 ally. Do you have a sense of who that would be, or we want to still wild card that in?
We can wild card that in because I think whatever's going to fit in the story best.
Sure. Okay. So, anything else open?
No, I've just got to actually clarify a couple things on my sheet. I have my art that I need to specify what it is.
You didn't need to say what your art is.
Right.
I assumed it was dance, but
I mean, it's
Oh, I think that would be performance, though.
Well, no, that's all under art.
Oh,
There is
okay.
no performance.
You
It's
have
like
to do this.
very
I thought this was your art.
yes.
Your existence,
Also, yes.
your entire
Your
existence.
face.
My entire vibe is art. Yeah, I mean it's the inspiration for the character is very the MC from Cabaret meets Ruby Rod from The Fifth Element. So
And
you're
then
welcome,
have
internet.
hot sex.
Oh, it's so hot and disgusting. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So, hosting? Personality can be an art form? Like,
Yeah, I mean, what if we call... Well, so that would normally fall under steward, the steward skill. Yeah, I left that in.
Is your art Angeline?
You just like
That one
performance
went right
artist.
past
yeah, I could do like performance art. That works too. Just
Okay.
or yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
let's go in that route.
Yeah, like something that's
Then that
designed
covers
to get...
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's entertaining, it's engaging, but it's not, like, taking care of people,
No,
which
it's
is
definitely
what
not
stewardship
taking,
is.
No,
So,
it's definitely more
yeah.
like hosting an event as opposed to hosting
right.
a party.
I'm on this, like, perfect part of the floor that is just, like, slowly drifting me off to the side there. I need, you know those blocks they put under airplane wheels?
Chalk.
What?
Chalk.
Okay, that is not what I thought you said.
Like a chalk block. That's what it's called.
Okay, I thought you were saying put a cock under my wheels.
Well,
Also,
you know,
yes.
That's,
the right kind would work.
yes, that's true. I'm sliding
I got
away.
nothing. I just,
Folks, you got to bear with us. This is the first time we've been in person in a long time.
the
So,
energy
you know,
in
the
the
energy
studio,
is kind
the
of...
energy in the studio
yeah.
is immaculate.
Chaos.
Yeah, it is wild in here.
Unbridled chaos.
All right, now just because I am completely full of myself, I'm taking control of the second mouse so that I can see my face. a
Oh,
little bit.
sorry. Yeah, that's fine. You could have just
Yeah, I'm
asked.
looking at the
Well,
screen.
but you're
I can
busy,
see
and that's, you know,
Joe's in there.
we can-
Chat, I can
we
see you,
have
and I can
the
see
tools.
you.
Or Hubuck.
Okay. Anything else on a character sheet that we should resolve before we decima this up?
Well, you and I talked a lot about my craft.
Yes, we did some shopping. You have a spaceship.
Yes.
Yes. The ships in the book, again, we don't have jump drives. Everything okay?
I couldn't get to the Wi-Fi, so I couldn't get to my notes.
Oh.
I finally got them. I'd be so happy.
That would be stressful, yes. Okay, so, however, in system, there is a lot of scav work to do. Scavenging and the other S words. Scalpeling? Nope.
Scrapping?
Salvage. Scavenge and salvage. Scalvage. Did it. I got there.
That's what I do.
He salvages.
And so the ship that you were finally able to purchase on your own was kind of towards the end of your career, and you're no longer working for anyone else, and you have your own ship scavenge business.
Yep.
Okay. Something else I wanted to take advantage of in Traveller is I do kind of like how they did their money system. Like the economy of it pretty much fits together. And so I also wanted to include like a lifestyle expense,
Uh-oh.
which, yes, you need to make money immediately.
Did you spend all of your money?
I haven't spent any of my money
for
yet.
Christ. Okay.
Okay. So that is available too. As we need things, we can certainly do the shopping. When we do a time passes moment, we'll figure out our lifestyle expenses based on how you're living, and that's not just rent, right? It's like what kind of dry cleaning bills you have, what kind of food you eat, what kind of beverages you keep on hand,
What
kind
clubs you go to and you know,
Yeah.
keep your social.
yeah,
yeah.
what kind of company you entertain.
Mm-hmm. You know, there are other people at this table you could look at.
No, not for that talk.
I'm not mad.
And I do have profession, but I don't have anything under profession.
Yeah, so we will need to decide, and that is basically anything you would label as a job you would, like a professional work you could get paid for. Right?
Mechanic. so,
Yeah, great. And you could even, is it rank 2?
It's rank 1.
Oh, okay. That's fine then, I think, for that. Anything that is a rank 2, if you want to make a note about a specialty or something, I'm open to bonuses for that. I'm not doing it the way Traveller does it. Shock and awe. But anything that's 2, I think I stopped everyone at 3. So you should only have 2s. But any 2s you have are remarkable, right? That is something you are known for. Even if it's just in your circle, like a rank 2 is a substantial skill that you've acquired. So I think the next step is to Decima this shit.
Let's do this.
All right. So, Nick, if you would take us to map view 1.
I will take us to map view 1.
Matthew 1 initiated.
I think you did something to my mouse.
I did
Hello,
not.
computer.
I turned that mouse off,
Oh, how
in
quaint.
fact.
Maybe you
Computer.
turn this mouse off.
I don't know how, since I had no physical contact with it.
Well, I have no mouse.
Okay, here you go. The tiny
Maybe
one.
that's why there's
Try
a
not to
second mouse.
crush it.
Yeah, it might be that one of the mice sometimes stops working.
Okay, so a little bit about the layout of our station. It is a ring, if I hadn't established that clearly enough. And the ring is essentially carved up into 4 quarters. Now, this is not a hard, border line between each one. It's not that everyone has exactly a quarter of 314 kilometers, but approximately. Really, if we were going to say anything, the Rise is the one to have bled over into the others because that's what they do. So, a brief description of the place so far, and then we're going to use Decima to fill this out even more. But Rise Corp is the host company that is here. A lot of people just work for Rise Corp, even if they live and work in other parts of the ring. They are still Rise Corp employees, and this is very much a company town, right? It's not company script and all of that, but technically Rise Corp owns the whole ring. But in practice, they're not in control of the whole ring. Each spot has bosses and people that are in charge, or maybe however they've split it up. It is available in different ways. So Rise Corp is the fancy shiny white walls with glass, and they've got greenhouses and salads and apartments. It's a nice place to live, right?
Very, very Westworld.
Yeah. It's clean, it's high tech, and honestly, the best medical facility is there, and they say if you get hurt, anyone is welcome to come to the Rise Corp medical facility. Anyone, it's fine, especially if you're a townie, right? With no charge. Chirp, chirp.
It's not much of one, right?
Yeah. If you can't pay, there are other things that they're open to.
You don't technically need 2 kidneys.
You don't, in fact.
You don't technically need 2 lungs.
Right. It is more convenient though. Okay. So, Rise Corp is that corner, and they are notably as far from the cruddy docks as they could put themselves. And still have access to the Forge and Tivoli Gardens. If you're just listening along, you may want to check the video at this timestamp, or I will try to post some of these images later. And if you're watching, then you know what I'm describing. So here we are. So going around the outside, Tivoli Gardens.
Around the outside.
Yes, indeed. Tivoli Gardens is our Broadway, our Vegas Strip, our Hollywood, all rolled into one. It is a hive of scum and villainy, debauchery, and everything else. It's all legal and it's all organized. So, and it has grown. This is the part of the ring that has grown the most in the last year or so, because pioneers, explorers are coming in. They're refueling here before they head out for their slow boat trip. So. Tivoli Gardens is really expanded a lot. We've got casinos. We've got racetracks. We've got brothels. We've got drugs, alcohol, anything, everything goes, right? The limits are like if you have hurt somebody who did not ask you to hurt them, then there's going to be an issue. But most of that is handled by the various casinos' own security, right? There isn't even like a Tivoli Gardens security. I was picturing it as essentially a number of families that make up a bit of a like coalition for the gardens, but this is stuff we can form in
Sort of like a new family or something?
Nick, if you could swap Joey and Clara's name tags
Right,
on
those
this
are
screen.
pretty much interchangeable. But
Well, we changed it on one of the map screens, and then we forgot about that there are other map screens. So,
I can't just message you guys in Slack.
oh, yeah, that's
or
true.
in Zoom. It drives me bonkers. I have to pass notes like a neophyte.
Okay, so Tivoli Gardens is just drunken debauchery. It's everything you could want to do, and probably some things you don't want to do. Moving on around the outside, the docks. And again, just to be clear, I know this isn't like immediately obvious. I know all of my players get this by this point because I've said it so many times. We actually do live on the outside of the ring, like standing on top of a wheel, right? We're on the outside because the black hole is in the middle, pulling us onto the wheel as gravity does. Our gravity is almost Earth normal. It's just a little bit less. So based on where we are, that's what we have. There is also a bit of the accretion disk of the black hole is we are in the gaseous portion of the accretion disk, which means we have a very thin atmosphere that kind of whips around, and our station is vaguely turning, but it's not like accelerating. It's just that the gases are orbiting the black hole, and so that pushes us a little bit, but it's not a very extreme speed. It's just something pilots have to be a little bit aware of like, okay, let's line this up and dock. So people can step outside of buildings on the surface of the ring with nothing more than a like pressure mask, right? And like probably warm clothes because it's real cold, but the friction of the wind going around, it is just windy all the time outside, and so that's just worth noting. And most people will go outside and hustle along to the building they want to get to, and all of the buildings have airlocks, right? Many of them are parked ships that came here and settled and put down bolts and are just never going to take off again. So they're converted from old cargo ships, all kinds of stuff. So the docks are where all the ships come in. Da, 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 da. That's the shocking reveal. The docks are also they're
also my home.
Yes, they're Balabanov's home. Do 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 do.
You know, I gotta like. try
Please,
not
I've
to do
heard
that.
this. Just call me Sach.
All right. So Sach lives at the docks. The docks are like plenty of people live at the docks, like the dock workers, for instance. And it is the place like you want to get a good deal on your docking fees, right? And there are people that come and greet you. My intro at the top of the show was basically somebody greeting you at the docks. Okay, you want to check that somebody's watching your ship. You want to check your pockets as you leave the docks. Like the docks are more shady than any part of Tivoli Gardens, because the docks are going to charge you your dock fee, and then they're going to charge you your service fee, and then they're going to charge you your refueling fee, and then they're going to charge you the refueling tank fee, or whatever else they can get away with. So there's a bit of that going on.
Would you say that Tivoli Gardens is glamorously shady, whereas the docks
Yes.
is legitimately shady?
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Tivoli Gardens is Vegas.
Yeah.
The docks is Reno.
Right, yes. Wow. Vicious, and I'm here for it. It's also helpful to think of the docks as So in real life, we're supporters of unions, and this is a good thing. This is like the mafia teamster vibe, okay? Not the good effects of having a union, but the docks have like a few sort of competing teamster type things, right? Not to villainize actual teamsters who are hardworking people who deserve better benefits, but everyone gets what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, it'd be a shame if something happened to your ship there. Seems like maybe you didn't pay all of your fees. That's a whole vibe at the docks. And it is possible to park elsewhere on the ring.
What?
All of the buildings are growing out of the ring, and if you get special invitation to the tallest tower in Tivoli, maybe you can just park your ship there if it's little, right? They've got little docking pads and things like that. You just can't like bring your freighter in to Tivoli Gardens, right? You got to dock that ship properly and pay through the nose for the privilege. And to finish out our circle is the Forge. The Forge is primarily the like ballet and concert venue. No, that's not true. None of that's accurate. It's all the machine workers, the mechanics, the engineers, all of that stuff. The 3D printers, the fabricators is really what we'll call them. All of that stuff is happening at the Forge. It is the kind of place where you might land at the docks and have them like fully remove one of your engines and float it over to the Forge because it needs a massive repair or something. The Forge engineers are probably not going to come to your ship at the docks, right? You can bring them something to fix. They might come by special arrangement, but it's complicated, right? Like the politics of Forge engineers heading over to the docks, like they're going to have to pay fees to go through there, and that's not fun. But again, smaller ships could be invited to park at the Forge if there's like some sort of like massive hull breach or something like that they really are going to need to work on the outside of the ship because like somebody stabbed your ship with a vibro knife, let's say. Then you're going to need
that?
Yeah,
I mean, really.
Clara does that regularly.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Do we have a tape? I think we have a clip.
Yeah.
Do you have a clip?
Let's go to the clip.
Can I get a supercut of every time someone has stabbed a ship in a game?
It's you, Clara.
I know. It's not always me.
One time, it wasn't you.
The exception proves the rule.
And was it not at your behest?
And if the court will read back my remarks, you will find I did not perjure myself.
All right. So that's the basic layout of our spot. In later maps, we're going to have like some kind of zoom ins on the individual location. Before we get there, I want to do our first relationship question. All right. So these are meant to be aimed at your fellow players. Each of you have 3 relationship cards. I would really like it if you got one with each other player. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But let's think of that as an attempt. Always remember we have our X card, even if it's sort of invisible and not immediately accessible. Always feel free to say, I'd like to X card this, or put your hands up, or whatever. We'll certainly honor that. We might only ask what exactly needs to be removed, but we honor the X card here, and we find it very important and helpful. So the thing to consider, this is very just confusing. Okay, there we go. The thing that, so you can X a question if it just really doesn't apply to you, or if it's already been answered, right? Like maybe, not that it's a duplicate, but just like, I feel like we covered this ground by clarifying other questions and things like that. And I'll just give you a new red card. That's fine. And same with we have the blue card. Oh, I forgot. And we have the purple cards. 2, 3, 4. I think I need 5. I don't remember. I read the directions again this afternoon. And the directions are actually clear and well written. I am a scatterbrain today because I've been super nervous about starting the show. So before we do our first relationship question, I'm going to read one of these, and we're not going to answer it. We're going to think about it. We'll think about what you've done. And we're going to answer it after everyone does one relationship question. We'll come back to this. All right, so the question that we are not commenting on and are coming back to in a moment is, the inverted tower. What a great place to start. Actually, inverted tower is good. So the question we are considering and not answering right now, our group saved something important. What was it, and how did we save it? So the 4 of you specifically, all right? We're going to get to know a little bit more about how you all know each other right now.
Question regarding the relationship questions. Do you want us to flip them over one at a time, or do all 3 so we can see which might fit better with other people?
Well, just one at a time for now. I want awkward corners.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's like you've not played with him before.
Well, I mean, I wasn't thinking awkward corners on a ring, but here we are.
It happens. I mean, on my ring.
Well, I mean, you might want to see a doctor.
In this economy? Claire, do you want to flip a red card for us? I feel like one of us
I'm good.
deserves a red card at this point.
It's this. My gremlin, Joey's gremlin, and Jason's gremlin cannot be in the same room together. Apparently, it's just getting worse in the best way.
Fine. Oh, I'm muted, but whatever.
The lack of ambition and blank frustrates you.
Okay.
This is the oh god, it's sword. Is it wands or swords?
That's a wand.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Lack of ambition and blank frustrates you. I don't know anyone well enough yet.
Well, let's.
That means you get to
Let's
make
start
it up.
just accusing people.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's the other thing about these questions too is we do want to make sure both people are sort of consenting because it usually says something about both of you.
Can I use the other actually the other side, which is way better for this?
Yeah, you can X that side of the card and flip it over. That's fine.
Sorry.
It's not the spirit of the game, but Clara's going to do what Clara's going to do, so that's fine.
Clara's gonna Clara.
Clara's gonna Clara. The ambition you see in blank scares you. I like it way more.
Okay.
Sorry. But also it's Joey.
Oh, yeah, that's a...
Okay. So,
Not wrong.
do you agree that Max would seem ambitious
Oh,
to
absolutely.
someone? Okay.
Yeah, he's, fought his way to the top and wants to keep climbing farther. The only way to go is up. And if he has to crush people along the way, sorry.
You might be a megalomaniac.
Me, jury's out.
Okay.
Okay.
The test
If
is
you need to
inconclusive.
crush everything on your way to becoming a megastar, you might be a megalomaniac.
It's not a deal breaker. I just want you to know in advance.
Oh, I appreciate the knowledge.
Excellent.
There's a power in you that
Excellent.
scares me.
All right, Joey, flip a card.
All right.
Any card.
You found out about Blank's dubious past. How did you find out? CC, do you have a dubious past? Is there a
I
dubiousness
could. I have
to
a
you?
criminal contact, so
You have a number of criminal contacts. I mean, you might consider her past dubious by association,
Right.
whether that's accurate or not.
What are you feeling? Do you feel...
I feel like I have a dubious past.
All right.
All right.
Let's see. How would I have found out? I would have found out... would it have involved anybody in the upper crust of society? Would it involve maybe someone who is more on the illegal side of things in Tivoli Gardens?
Can I make a suggestion?
Please and thank you.
What if there was sort of a designer drug type thing that
There
was happening,
definitely
and
is.
you were into that party thing, and kind of came across your hookup, your friend, who also knows Cece, and it was sort of like a, by you don't know necessarily that Cece has anything to, you have no proof that Cece has anything to do with this slightly illegal designer drug, but Cece knows this person and was in the area, and so you are making the assumption of a dubious past.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
All right, cool. I also love when these relationships highlight your impression of someone.
Right.
And sometimes is a misunderstanding, which is just chef's kiss. The questions on these are so well formed and somehow mystically reconnect to each other. I don't know what Kimmy sacrificed to make these, but it worked, and I love it. Cool. Laptop. I did not plug it in. Oh, I can though. All right. That's the wrong plug. Okay, Nick, do you want to do one of yours?
Sure. Okay. This is the Four of Wands. You think that blank will cut and run if things get risky. Well, that was a softball.
What?
What?
Yeah, no. That's just the impression that I get.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll cut.
Yeah.
And then I'll run.
Yeah.
Will you?
I may. I have the capacity to cut.
Your nails are very
His
expensive,
nails
I
are very
feel like.
sharp.
Yes,
I
I
don't
was
know,
gonna
these
say.
are my nails.
He paid a lot for those nails.
Right?
I know.
Please.
Risk breaking one?
That's what sword canes are for.
Oh, God. Do you
So
have that
I
still?
guess that was reversed,
No, but
but yes, I think that is definitely max.
Okay.
Great. So yeah, be sure to jot these down somewhere where you will not forget. Whatever note-taking device works for you. I will ask for them at some point. You will need to submit your homework and show your work. So, great. What about Cece's first card?
All
I need
right.
to start using character names.
It is the 5 of. Are these wands or swords?
That
Those
is
are-
wands.
Wands,
Okay.
I think.
You're always competing with blank and trying to one up each other.
Oh.
I'm gonna say Sach.
Yeah, that seems like
Yeah.
because he's kind of techie.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's a friendly competition. It's not
Okay.
like anything, hostile or whatever, but yeah.
Well, did you two come up together at all, or what's the age difference in the characters?
I'm 20.
Uh,
And he's 24.
Okay.
I think I actually was saying 26 just because it sounded.
Yeah.
seemed a
Okay.
little-
So you two may kind of come up through. We'll put air quotes around school.
He's
around the
like
same
the
time.
big brother type. and-
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're from the docks, right?
I'm from the docks.
Yeah. And
And
you're
I'm from
the
the
forge, so
forge,
right
so-
next door.
And I think that probably had something to do with like shared love of engines, and Sach is more focused on flying, but also like needs to know what's going on, and
Yeah.
then yours is a little bit more focused on the technical aspect.
I love it.
That's fun. I love that. Okay. Everyone's done one.
mm-hmm.
Well, the inverted tower requires our answer. Now, this is a group answer that we all need to agree on. Our group saved something important. What was it, and how did we save it? And this is important, Max.
Important is subjective.
So, what are we likely to have saved?
The world.
My brain has automatically gone to somebody's life because
That's easy,
where
yeah.
you go, and that's easy. And stuff is stuff.
Sure. But I mean, money's nice.
Yeah.
But let's, save a life seems like that's doable. There's something viable there.
Maybe someone in Rise.
Oh shit,
Oh, a
Yeah.
low-level executive?
yes. Yeah.
I like that.
Someone who like.
Okay. I guess I have to write these down.
Yeah.
Maybe someone who got in trouble with like some of the seedier elements in either the docks or Tivoli Gardens. Like maybe a new arrival who got in over his head and
Oh, yeah. Okay, I like that. Especially because when Rise execs are sent out here, there are Rise employees who were born here, right? And were born and raised in Rise Corp. There are also people, like, you can test out, like, anyone who lives on the ring can take a test and join Rise Corp. It's just a lot of people either don't pass the test or don't want to be corporate stooges. So there's a fair, I wouldn't say a wild anti-corporate vibe on the rest of the ring, but it exists, right? Like, because Rise sometimes doesn't share everything well.
Really?
I know. It's shocking that a mega corporation wouldn't have everyone's best interest at heart, but it does seem like that might be the case.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah.
because company towns are always good.
See, it's funny you say that because I don't feel like they are.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't let them hear you say that.
For the record, I am against them. That was sarcastic.
Okay. So the next question that we shall entertain while answering more.
Oh, can I make
Yes.
a little addition on that? If
Yeah.
people are into it.
Yeah.
Do you want to tie the trouble that he got into with that synthetic party drug?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Got into trouble with the party. Okay.
That
party
we can
drug.
kind of tie
I
things
feel
together.
the need to clarify on behalf of Jason that it feels like nothing is technically illegal, but I think strongly frowned upon in certain quarters.
Yeah.
that make
Especially in
sense?
Rise, you could lose your
In
job.
Rise, yeah.
Yeah. That,
Like
like,
Tivoli Gardens, it would probably be fine. There are probably dens dedicated to it,
right.
but taking it outside of that area is a whole
Yeah,
lot.
and like wasn't going to pass this drug test, and yeah, I like that. Yeah, like there's a class of drugs that is fine for off-duty Rise employees, and this does not fall within that classification. So, what if it was somebody from Tivoli Gardens who had tested in?
Ooh.
And then, like-
they'd have more to
Better.
lose than someone born in.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
they know what it took to get in there, and they're under additional scrutiny already, and they kind of missed a taste of home, so to speak.
Oh dear.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
that's
it.
that's
Cool.
delicious and terrible.
Okay. Saved a Rise exec from Tivoli using. Did we have a name for the drug?
I'm toying with something, and feel free to jump in on this.
My emotions?
Yes, always. Something based on Prism or Prismo, or calling it P, and it basically lets you see all the colors in the spectrum.
Ooh.
From
Let's
infrared
not call
to
it P.
ultraviolet.
I'm desperate. Please don't
Yeah,
call
we
it
cannot
P.
call it P.
Can't call it P.
All right.
I took
I
some
like Prism
P.
though.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone
Okay.
could just
Yeah.
call it Prism. That's
Okay.
not.
Prism is great.
I was trying to be adult about it, Clara.
That's a lie.
Fucking never.
That's a lie, and you
Do you
know
know
it.
what show you're on?
If it's P and it lets you see colors, you know the only color everyone's thinking about.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Red.
Oh, you
What?
need to see a doctor. Right
You see
now.
a doctor, Jason.
No, it's fine. He's got the beat. He's got the beat. He's got the beat.
All right. So the next question that we shall entertain while we were doing some more. So I'd like to do 2 relationship questions, then do our blue card, the location question, and then our last relationship question.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Okay. So the question we shall consider is the inverted Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, good.
Uh-oh.
I don't like the look on his face.
Our group had a streak of bad luck and nearly ended. What happened? So, we don't have to answer that yet, but we should think about what the 4 of you have been getting up to. Now, I'm curious, Max.
Yeah.
Are you leading a little bit of a double life? Or, like, are you, like, doing your entertainment thing, but when the makeup comes off and you're like, is there a version of you that is almost unrecognizable?
I'd like to think so. Every once in a while, I can get out and not be Max.
Mm-hmm.
I can be my normal self, because it's hard being on all the time. But for the most part, it's hard to disguise this face
Okay.
when it's everywhere on the station.
Now, did we get into how your characters know each other? Because we've done some of that and we introduced our characters, but I don't think we introduced all of our backstory stuff. We don't have to do all of the backstory stuff, but let's pause this question for a second.
Okay.
Max, how do you know everyone?
Well,
Yrsa.
Yrsa, that's what I said. What did you hear? Or that's what my thumb said.
This
is-
one.
Leave me alone. I'm on fair hangover. Yrsa is my newly discovered sister.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Genuinely, and I was the one who suggested it.
Yep.
Yeah, I forget, was it like adopted sister or like full sister or half sister or?
I think we're related by blood somehow, but it's
We don't
not
know the details, and it's not
necessary.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have half siblings, and I don't refer to them as like my half sister. It's
Yeah.
like she's just my sister.
I
Yeah.
think if you needed a kidney, we'd probably be a decent match.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I might, based on...
Apparently.
Okay. Now you're both from Tivoli,
Yes.
and you were sort of aware of each other's orbit because you're a famous prize fighter.
Yes. Yes.
Well, you're medium famous.
Medium famous.
And you're famous. and then somehow realize that your families are connected.
Yes. And Yrsa, it'll come back. I promise.
We're gonna make table tents. You're fine.
Bless.
Are we? Who's gonna make them?
I just volunteered, didn't I?
Yep. Yrsa is also my bodyguard.
Right.
For when I need to go out in public and don't like to be touched.
And became your bodyguard before discovering, and in the
Yes.
process of working together.
Discovered
Yes.
that we were,
Yeah.
We never figured that part out, but it doesn't really
it's
matter.
very Parent Trap.
Okay.
It's very Parent Trap.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Now, Max, how do you know Sach? I almost said the other word.
Swatch?
No. The last name.
Oh.
I can't.
Well, I
Because
know...
if I say it, there's one possible outcome of what comes next.
Now, what was the last name again?
Balabanov. Yeah.
So I know Sach
That's okay. That's okay.
because he was the driver for a famous celebrity couple that I used to pal around with, sexy time pal around with, and we got to know each other through that. And you know, you struck up a conversation with someone as they drove you back to your place, and
Right. I've seen a lot more of Max than I thought that I had intended, but
Yeah.
he's a decent guy to talk to.
I try. I'm amiable.
Yeah, he can be very charming.
Thank you. And I'm trying to remember how me and Cece know each other.
Maybe it's a little bit remote yet. Like you're gonna meet, or you met CC through Sach.
Yeah, or maybe, you had something repaired.
Yeah. Now,
Right,
yeah,
that-
Tivoli
yeah.
does call Forge folks in to work. Like that's fine. It's just Forge folks aren't supposed to go work in the docks. Like they can go through the docks, right, and like
Right.
hang out. And there's like it's a very kind of like the pier vibe, carnival games and but space carnival games, I guess.
Can I make a suggestion here?
Yeah.
That might be kind of cool. This is what's been going on in my mind. If you do a lot of like personality stuff and events and shows, the image I have in my head is Max walking down like a staircase, but the staircase is mechanical and it keeps shifting and moving, and that's something that you worked on.
Okay, yeah.
So that like it had like this wave stuff and parts of it go up and down, and it's this whole
doesn't
choreographed
catch
thing
his
where you like
costume and yeah.
step and there's nothing there, but something comes up, and like a whole performance.
I love that and want that in my life. And I'm totally down for that. And we can also play into the underworld angle because we have that
Yep.
connection now.
Yep.
Like
So-
you needed a custom like stage, and somebody you work with knew CC was capable of building that and kind of trusts CC because CC has criminal friend. I love the idea that CC is just this like very innocent bystander.
But I just know everybody.
Right.
Right.
I know a guy. I know a guy who knows a guy.
Ceases the Forrest Gump of the ring.
This actually happened
Quite.
like but this was actually sort of my experience in high school, where I actually didn't drink or do any drugs until much later in life. And in high school, though, all my friends were like pothead skaters, and so everyone assumed I was a pothead too. And I like was kept trying to tell them like, no, I don't want, like that's not my thing. Like we're just friends. It was like all the time.
Yeah.
This was like I knew where to buy drugs, and I never needed to. Like
My dad, like way back in the Rat Pack days, my dad sang opera.
oh, cool.
And back then, LA was still very mob run. And so he knew a lot of mob people, but because they like their opera.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds like a stereotype, but it's very true.
Yep.
And so he knew a lot of people in the mob, but he was never part of it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's a good link.
Yeah.
I like that little bit of backstory flavor. Okay. So I started that question as Max, how do you know everyone, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, Yrsa, how do you know everyone with some of that stuff laid down already?
Based on some of the session 0 we had, Yrsa does know people through that. For example, she and Cece know each other through, I think there was a fixed fight, and Cece was able to sort of like let Yrsa know before it went off. But then we have, so they've built trust and a connection through that. I think we're actually probably just friends as well.
Yeah.
Because I think we're both kind of beans, just like sweet beans.
Now, does CC party at all?
Not really. She
Okay.
kind of like stays sober while everybody else is having a good time. But she's okay because she's watching her friends trip out and
Yeah.
she's laughing hysterically.
Oh, okay, that's fun for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sober sister.
Yeah,
Sober sitting.
excellent.
College.
And the
Okay.
And as previously stated, Yrsa and Max are siblings, but before any of that, she was installed as Max's bodyguard. Sort of doing, the way I described it is she is a bodyguard by day and a prize fighter by night, because bodyguard work comes through her adopted family, and that money goes to them, and prize fighting money goes to her.
Okay, so it's not like a secret thing she does, but it is separate.
It
Of
is
like-
separate.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, that's her thing, and then everything else is for the people she owes.
Which we should probably mention. We are mob related.
Yeah, mob.
Yeah, I mean, not literal mafia,
Yeah.
No,
but
but-
there is. And again, even the term organized crime is a little nebulous in Tivoli Gardens and the Ring. Like, what does that mean, really? But I think we have, like we said before, several families that are essentially a council for Tivoli that have a lot of power and can cause violence should it be necessary. But they don't really want to. Like, it's bad for business, right, to do that ultimately.
Humans are social creatures, and they will build themselves little tribes
Yes.
to run things when you need muscle and
Yeah.
connections.
Absolutely.
And speaking of more connections, with Sach?
Sach.
With Sach, we didn't actually hammer out what had happened or how they connected in the thing.
Right.
I think Sach is just sort of a fan of people, of all of us. Haven't you been?
So I know that my connection with Max is very much based off of that, and I feel like we could have met through that. I sort of also, in my head, when we were sort of hammering out the initial contacts, I sort of had in my head like, I delivered the dignitary. I wasn't invited to go to things, so I'm just hanging out by the car, by the flyer, and maybe struck up a conversation with you, not knowing that you were the prize fighter who was here to see. Just like, hey, how are you doing? Like da-da-da-da-da.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, she would have totally been down to just chat with people.
Sure.
Again, sweet person, just hits people for a living.
Sure.
Right, and then I
Yeah.
think in my mind it sort of ends with you saying like, "Oh, I gotta go. I'm,
Yeah.
they're calling for me."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And,
feel
like the
we're not-
realization of Sach go, "Oh,"
Yeah.
and then turn on the radio so he can listen in on the fight.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
For
I love that
sure.
we have radios. This is
Yeah, we have
good.
radios
That's
for
established now. I like that.
Like, again, in my
Yeah.
head, this is just Peaky Blinders in
Well, I mean,
space.
people
Yeah.
from the dock have radios.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
That's a retro.
Now, for the overall vision is, very high tech, several hundred years into our future, but it's the high tech. I think we'd established, like, there's no artificial gravity. We don't have like plasma weapons and that, but we do have fusion generators and really good, the technology of our airlocks is extremely good. Our vac suits are very good. All of that kind of stuff, all that like kind of passive technology is, materials technology is what you would expect to see 500 years from now, which is roughly where we are. I haven't really put a fine number on it, but there we go.
So maybe it's a fission radio,
Sure, yeah.
Look, it's sort of like how...
How embarrassing.
I mean, for me, it's sort of like how Borderlands has enough technology
Yeah.
to get you to space, but still somehow Western.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely on the grungy side, kind of the cyberpunk frontier town. Is the
Open up the Mr. Fusion and toss the coffee grounds
Yeah.
and the banana
Yeah.
peel and stuff, so my radio will work.
Listen to the radio.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, and so just noticed a question there. So we have fabricators and 3D printers, but not at the molecular level. They're not Star Trek replicators.
We're not post-scarcity.
Right. Like you do have to bring in goo, fabricator goo, that it can be used to fabricate pretty much any solid material that you would need to make. And that's, what you all do in the Forge all the time is, have that sense of, like, we can build any normal thing. You're just not turning lead into gold, right? That kind of thing. So,
Well, just a quick moment. This came by in the chat a little bit earlier, but someone suggested that Prism is PRZM.
oh, of course it
Yes.
is.
Oh,
It
yes.
is now.
Mwah, love you.
Kudos for that. Okay. And well, and also I imagine there were moments where you were bodyguarding Max. What, Sach is driving him around?
Oh, absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
just Sach. I see Sach and Yrsa just sitting in the front seat listening. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine.
I would even love if there had been a moment, like maybe it's in the credits, right, where we see, like, Sach, you know you're going to go pick up Max, and Yrsa gets in first, and
Right.
you're like, what? What are you doing here?
Puts it all
You're not
together.
my fare? Like,
Right. It has a moment of the Mentos Fresh.
yeah.
What are you doing in my car?
God, no.
Okay, cool. So, Sach, we have a lot of background, but how do you know everybody?
So I think we've covered Cece and Yrsa. The question that I have is exactly how it is with Max. How did we go from being someone who I picked up or dropped off to actually knowing each other and being friends for that? So I'm not... The connection that I had in my mind, one of the personality traits I have for Sach is that he is obsessed with royalty, the royal family.
Yeah, I love this bit. Yes.
But he doesn't admit that. Like, one of his things is he always has a magazine or a tabloid or something on
Yeah.
him, but he always denies that it's his
I love
on
that.
there.
Okay.
That he's always reading about things
All right,
like that.
Nick, you're on the spot. What is the Ring's main tabloid magazine? I think they are like printing a physical magazine that people could carry around with them. Because, we all have like great devices and everything,
yeah.
right? It's 500 years, it's the iPhone 315 and whatever.
The dark glitter of the Ring.
The dark glitter. Okay. Dark glitter.
I love that.
Okay, and I think their tagline is like, everything you need to know about the glitterati. So yeah, you would have heard about the family that Max is friends with, and you would have followed a lot of Max's career, and
So if it could even be something like, maybe you said something oblique, and then I popped in with like what was commonly known, and then you corrected me, and it just sort of became this talking about like I had the outsider's perspective, you've got the inside story, but I knew enough about what was going on that we could kind of communicate. And
it
talk
was still
about
like
what was
fun
going
to
on.
talk about.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I may, I think also there's definitely a need for like a trusted driver and a trusted mechanic,
yeah.
especially when you get to a level of like
Yeah.
fame or whatever. So I think if you're gonna have time just being Max and not Max ego, it would be nice to have someone who's
An
discreet,
actual person.
who's going to take you, where you
Yeah.
need to go. Rather
Sometimes
than,
you need to be Max Id.
yeah. I hate that I laughed at that.
That's beautiful.
I hate that I laughed
No,
at that.
I was like, kind of the vein I was thinking of is I think you're my touchstone to the people.
Right.
Like when I want to.
The common folk.
Yes.
The common
Oh,
folk.
that was awesome and vicious at the same time.
That's just my brand.
Yeah. I'm just enjoying that. I'm savoring the flavor of it.
All the beautiful little people out there in
Yes.
the dark.
Yeah.
Tell me, Sach, what are they saying about me?
Wait, what is that from?
Sunset
Sunset
Boulevard.
Yeah. Ah, wow. What a blank. Okay. All right,
Yeah,
Sach.
I love that. I love that connection.
Okay.
All right, so that kind of says how you know, because you and Cece came up together. You're old friends. Okay, now, Cece and Sach, did either of you want to take the Rise exam at some point?
I don't think that I did not. I
Okay.
did not, because Sach's dream has always been flying.
And independent.
And right.
Because, Rise has access to some nice ships.
Yeah, but they just do cargo runs.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just do cargo runs. That's not fun.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, how about Yrsa and Max? Even as little kids, was there some point where you're like, Ooh, the Rise exam. That's a good path forward.
Absolutely not.
Never.
Not in like an anti-corpo way or anything. And this is so sad. I keep making up sad things for sad characters. No one has ever told Yrsa that she would ever be smart enough to take the Rise exam.
Okay. She just did like the automated online school thing. And,
like you have a couple talents. Your brain is not one of them. So go do something else.
Oh, woof.
So yeah.
Okay.
We've already talked about her damage. So
Yeah.
it's only going to get more fun.
I think Max thought about it in those moments where he wanted to quit show business as a kid because he had a stage mom who could also have your legs broken. So, you get to that point very, for musical theater fans out there, very Baby June, Dainty June with Gypsy, that moment.
Yeah.
Very that. Only Max didn't get on the train with Tulsa. He stayed. So yeah, there were moments where he thought about it, but, something just kept pushing him in the direction of stardom.
Okay. I like that. Now, Cece, what are some of your links to all of this?
I think Cece, she not only enjoys just being a mechanic, but I think because of her connections to the underworld and whatever, she also has connections to people who want to organize, like unions and actual
the good kind.
The good kind.
Yeah.
Which Rise mysteriously figures out ways to not let happen.
Yeah, circumvent.
So she's going to be a little more sympathetic to the working person, and she would have grown up hearing all this and not really want to be part of Rise.
Yeah.
She's not like part of a resistance or anything, but she's sympathetic.
I get it. But but you've seen it from you've seen it from the ground level of like what a lot of the Forges put through when they're contracted to do work for Rise. It's like never polite or, okay. Yeah. Okay. I like that.
And I mean, I don't know if you want to put this in the world or not, but like a disproportionate number of people like from the Forge and the Docks don't pass the Rise exam.
Oh. Yeah.
You don't have to, though.
No,
Maybe too real world.
I think, we can use some of that for sure because software blames engineering and engineering blames software.
Right.
Which is my real life experience. But being both, like I am a software person and a like engineering brain is like, what, can't we all just get along? So yeah, okay, I like that. Real quick question: who has 2s in their skills?
I only have 2 in one skill.
I have 1, 2 as well.
Okay. I also have 1, 2.
I don't. I almost did, but you were like, maybe you should not do that because I think I was going to take a 2 in unarmed melee.
Yeah, you didn't really need that.
I did not.
Okay, so Cece, you have medic.
Yeah.
Huh.
Every party
thank
needs
God.
someone who has medical skills.
Now,
I thought about this.
Was Cece studying, or is Cece studying to be like a paramedic type person? Because I think there probably is an independent group. Like there's Rise paramedics, but you don't want to call them if you don't have to.
Right.
So I think there's probably something separate from that'll, run around and pick people up and.
Yeah, and it may not be an official university course. It may be one of those things where we've just learned to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so,
especially in the Forge.
Right, and so you might have professional midwives and you might have professional, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, CC might be part of a volunteer group maybe that goes and does some paramedic stuff.
Yeah, or they live on tips.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
It's fun.
And Nick, your small craft is a 2.
Yes.
And small craft we're putting as like little craft for a dozen people or so, but not like a big crater, not a crater ship.
Well, no. If you have no skill in it, it is a crater ship very quickly.
That's how we do that. So small craft is also the, like little like scavengers and salvagers and stuff like that, versus the big like sleeper ships that are taking people out. 20 years to the 7.
I feel like the way that the way that I was picturing it is in Traveller, which I know is just an old ancestor and antecedent of this game and really doesn't have much to do with it, but small craft were defined as things that were under 100 tons. And they were a little bit fuzzy on exactly what that means, as I discovered when I was trying to figure out what that actually means size-wise.
Nothing. It meant nothing.
Right. It means the ships are plot-sized.
Yeah. Which was so funny to find in Traveller specifically, though, because a lot of the game, and not being sarcastic, is really designed around that, well, like pseudo-realism, of like trying to recreate that the simulationist game design.
How dangerous
mindset.
it would be to actually be shot by a plasma rifle. Like,
Right.
you're basically incinerated unless
Right.
you're incredibly lucky.
And there's so much of the game where they're trying to recreate and accurately simulate real-life activities, and then the ships are just wildly inaccurate.
As far as I could tell.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a shipbuilder or engineer, so your mileage may vary, but the online tools I could find seemed like they were wildly off of what the way tonnage is used when we talk about ships, or even, say, the space shuttle, which I was trying to use as a point of comparison. But in any case, so small craft are not... They're like flyers, which are like a personal ground car, or smaller than that, like an ultralight or squirrel suits or stuff like that. Those all use flyer. Small craft is the next step up, and you would think of that as sort of like if you had
Firefly.
Yeah, like
Shuttles,
exactly,
rather
exactly.
than like the whole fucking ship.
Yeah, something like that, or like a longboat, like the boat that goes out to the dock while the ship stays out at sea.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Oh,
So
that's what the biggest ships do when they come to the ring. Actually, is they'll leave because they also don't want to necessarily dock on the ring and then deal with all the dock and like it's
right, because if you can have your behemoth ship out here and just send your smaller ships in, which are not going to cost as much, and you just keep shipping supplies back and forth. So
Yep.
he's really good with the smaller type craft, race them some, things like that.
oh yeah, there is a racing league that races around the ring.
I don't know. I just really like that idea. I'm just
Cool. I love it. Also, just so we know, I was picturing it as racing like on the inside rim of the ring, and that's okay because there's 25 kilometers from the inner side of the ring to the event horizon of the black hole.
Plenty of space.
25 kilometers. What could go wrong, right?
Right.
Maybe that's how I have some of my underworld connections, is because I work on their
Oh,
vehicles.
the racers.
Love
Yeah.
that. Yes.
That's great. That's a great in for CC. Okay.
Ring racers.
Terrific.
I love they give a ring racer on Prism.
Yeah.
oh, that's a terrible idea. And I love it.
Not more than once.
Yeah, exactly.
Sacrifice in the black hole. It's fine.
What did you end up calling your art again?
That's a great question. I ended up just going with, like, performance art / MC.
Okay.
Like,
Host. Yeah.
because it gives a little bit of everything. A little bit of singing, a little bit of dancing,
Yeah.
very that.
I'm thinking about every time someone's introduced themselves to me as like a conceptual performance artist, and I'm like, awesome.
I feel like that instinct is correct.
Yeah, but also that is the word that came to my brain when it came to your art.
Right.
Conceptual performance artist.
It's a concept.
I create a mood.
I'll say.
You're a mood artist,
A mood artist.
I hate it.
and yet
I love it.
And yet I know there's a business card.
Yeah. I think what I'm mad
Max
about.
Ego, mood artist.
I'm mad that I like it. That's what I'm mad about.
You're looking with mood artist. I could have gone with moodist.
No, I don't think Max is very moodist.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. I think we have a little bit more background with our characters now. Let's do our next red card. Let's start on this end. CC. Which one?
All right, 3 of wands. I'm getting all the wands. Blank's connections helped you get something important. Who got it and what was it?
Okay. Well, it's also maybe helpful to know the relationship cards are all wands and swords, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think that's correct.
And then the places are cups and pinnacles. But one of those might be mixed up. But that's why you will see a lot of two of them for red versus blue.
I'm going to say Max's connections helped me get something important.
Okay.
What was it?
Maybe a part you needed, or some kind of like hard to get chemical for like maybe one of your illegal racers. Like,
I like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like some sort of fuel that's frowned upon, because we won't say illegal because technically, but
Space
Right.
nitrous.
yeah, space nitrous.
Yep. Why not?
So, yeah.
Because it's also used recreationally, right? So
Yeah.
And it helped me kind of build a reputation with the racers.
Yeah, okay.
That's why it was important.
Because you were good at using it and like
Yeah.
putting it together the right way. Yeah. Okay. Like none of yours have exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I assume many of them do.
Yeah.
I feel like ring racing is just really, like, on the level of horrible, horrible things you can do to yourself. That's like,
But also probably one of the highest paying.
oh, hell
Right?
Yeah.
Because people pay to watch it live and
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
a huge thing and yeah.
it's fine unless you're bad. And that problem takes care of itself.
Sach, have you raced?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Satch is a racer.
Regularly.
Yes.
a
Fantastic.
good racer? Like,
well,
not,
he survived.
you're
so.
not dead, but like, beyond the dead threshold, like, how good are you?
So using mechanical skill, I have a 2, so I'm pretty darn
Holy
good.
shit,
Oh,
at
he's
okay.
known for it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
People know you for this. Yep. Worth noting.
I think that's partly how I got the nest egg that I built for my business was
A couple big prize purses. And,
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Okay, Cece, what was your question again?
It was who got it and what was it. So Max's connections helped me get, we're calling it space nitrous for right now.
Right. Okay, great.
Which helped me
Don't
gain a
name
rep
things.
with the racers.
Yeah, great. Sorry, we went down some twisty tunnels on that
No,
one.
you're
So
good. I can't be allowed to name things. I'm just going to say space and then the thing I want it to be.
Spinaz.
Spinaz.
no, I'm vetoing that one. I hate it. Like no.
We could call it.
What little bit of control I have at this table, I'm exercising.
Do you want to call it something like Icarus? Like something...
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
good stuff right there.
That is, sorry, Clara, but that is better than space nitrous.
Yes.
Spacetress.
Of course, my notes are just going to say Icarus equals space nitrous, so...
Maybe we call it Icky for short.
Icky.
Yes.
And it's,
Hit the icky and burn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, my ship needs some Icky. Do you got any?
And it works if it's recreational too. It works the same way.
Yeah.
Very hot.
I just need
Oh,
to
we
throw
got
out
to the
there,
spot. We hit some icky and burn.
If you can hit the fuel you put in your car, you shouldn't do it. I feel like
Whoa,
that's...
look at the judgment.
It just seems like that's the level. There's my line apparently, is I won't do gas.
Just because it's an
gasoline.
industrial component, but fuel engine. Like,
Multiple people to
Ooh.
exploding.
Necessity was the mother of
Hoity-toity.
invention.
all right. Well, let's get Sach's next card.
All right, my next card is looks like this is reversed wands. You had a thing with blank, but it didn't work out. What went wrong? And I'll be honest, I'm probably going to X card that because I am not a fan of those sorts of relationships.
That's fine.
And I don't like the other side either. Can I draw a new card?
Yeah. Let's. What did I do with them? Is the question. Here we go. A red card for you.
Yes. All right. I'll take this the way I took it. This is a reversed cups. So, blank makes you think of things in a way you never have before. What have you started to question?
Oh.
Okay. Makes you think of things in a way you never have before.
I want to introduce
Nick,
a
I need
part
to draw your attention to
this.
Oh, yeah,
Clara's
yeah.
face.
Sorry.
Can I introduce you to our Lord and Savior, the black hole?
Oh.
It is an element of the thing we haven't talked about yet, which is there is a small cult Cult
yes.
in the old cult in the old way of the word, which means just a bunch of people who have come together and they believe in a certain thing. But there's a small black hole cult, and Yrsa may or may not be like a High Holy Day member, where she just goes on the special days.
Yeah, and I did decide on Odin's Eye.
Odin's
as
Eye,
the,
awesome.
I love that.
Okay.
Cool.
or just the eye. That but yeah.
So
So,
that's just
what is the
something in the
phrasing of it again?
Blank makes you think of things in a way you never have before. What have you started to question?
Okay.
So what are the tenets of Odin's Eye?
Oh, I had to think of that, didn't I? As far as
Well,
Jason,
I've
we
thought about it a
yeah,
little
if
bit.
you want to bring it out.
Yeah. So the general idea is just taking the moment. It's more like what for the members who are like normal people. it's like meditative and being quiet and thoughtful in a place that is not quiet and thoughtful. You know, and so it is. That's kind of what sets them apart. Is this very sort of calm, peaceful moment on the ring. They have lots of places around. I don't think they actually have like a chapter house in Rise, because I think they just forbade that. But there are a bunch of Rise members of the Eye. So, but the basic idea is just contemplating the infinite blackness that you live above, you know, and the idea that it's this just incredible emptiness, and what does that mean? And pondering those types of things is kind of at the root of it. And they will, by way of ceremonies, often throw things of increasing value over the edge into the black hole.
A sort of a way of reducing your worldly attachments?
Yeah, or like at the High Holy Days, you make an offering.
Like
of some
returning
kind.
something back to the universe.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeet to the black hole.
Yes. Yeah, it's a holy yeet.
A holy yeet.
The holy yeet.
Yeah, actually, I like that. I think that works. I think that works really well. I think that Sach has always been materialist, and not in like a gimme money, but in a like I need to be able to see it, touch it, taste it, you know, grounded in the real world.
Okay.
And to have this sort of element of, have you thought about the thing beyond that, the
Right.
thing that connects us with all of the universe? And by the way, there's this black hole, and isn't this interesting? And you know,
Okay.
Much, yes.
We don't do a lot with chat here, but I can't leave this unacknowledged. Would you like to know what Adam has done?
Oh no.
Do I?
Adam
I want to know.
said, "Yeet, pray, love," which none of us came up with before now. I'm extremely disappointed in all of you, including me.
I need that on a shirt
But
Yes.
now.
I thought you would be proud, and I
am
wanted you
so
to know.
incredibly proud.
I
There are no words.
I want that cross stitched on a pillow.
Yeah,
Hashtag my team.
yeah.
yeah. That's really good.
One of the things I talked about is that Satch wears a lot of logo shirts, and
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I may need to like make since my chest shows up in this camera, I can do a yeet, pray, love.
I think
That's very good. Yeah. All right.
As long as the O in love is the black hole.
Oh yeah, of course.
This is great.
it's happening now.
And I should note, just in case it hasn't been like ridiculously like drawn out, the name of the station is Draupnir, which is a silver ring that the Norse dwarves had made in a bet with Loki. So there's a whole like Norse thing going on because scientists are nerds. When they came, they named it that. But then the Odin's Eye is like, this is the missing eye, right? Of like that's the thought process of like he plucked out his eye to gain wisdom and insight and all of that, and this is the like socket, right? Like the black hole is kind of the core tenet of you know, letting things go, right? Sometimes you just have to let something go
In order to get something more.
Yeah.
And that will never come up ever again. Who knows?
What have I signed up for?
Jason was like, there might be a cult, and I was like, yes, please, I want fantasy religion.
So
Thank
at
you.
some point, this is going to turn into Yrsa versus the volcano.
Maybe.
No, there's no volcano.
There's no volcano. It's a black hole.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense,
so
Joey. Max, pull the card. Any card. Not that one.
Too late. Blank's work is not up to your standards. Do you check up on them?
Why would you get such a shady
I
card?
don't know. It's like
Kimmy!
rude.
I actually, dealt these at random. Okay, you would think that's a card I specifically went through the deck until I found it, and it said, give me to Joey! That did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
I dealt these at random. These are the cards Joey got.
At random.
Hey, if he was doing that, he knows that I'm not a fan of love relationships in RPGs. He wouldn't have given me that card.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that's very true. As shitty as it is, I think it's Yrsa.
How fucking dare? Let's go.
Let's get the phrasing of the question,
Yeah.
or the statement again.
Yrsa's work is not up to your standards. Do you check up on them? And I think it's specifically your fighting.
Why?
And are you trying to mentor her?
I'm trying to inspire her because she can be so much better if she just applied herself.
There it is.
Oh, no.
There it is.
Oh, no.
Can I put a spin on that?
Fully
That might
triggered.
work.
Yeah.
I imagine is Yrsa's style just very utilitarian, and
Oh.
Max wants you to be more flamboyant and showy, and you could really be
Oh.
you could be a star if you just
Have a little bit of flash.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think that has not occurred to her at all. Like there's no, because it's not like professional wrestling. It's not like that situation where everyone's announced and it's really flamboyant. It's closer to MMA. So yeah, no, it punch thing till thing stops moving. Awesome.
go in there, put them down, and
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, it's not pretty, and I think every time Max is like, I have a designer who wants to do a costume. You could do a little more makeup. on
It's
this.
just a robe. It's just a robe.
It's just a robe.
Here's the
If you
problem you're
tried
not
egging the
seeing.
crowd on.
The problem you're not seeing is, okay, great, I won my fight, I got a nice purse. What happens when you can't fight anymore? You have to establish a label for yourself. You have to establish a personality so that you can build a nest egg so you can retire.
Maybe I'll be dead by then. Hopefully, I'll be dead by then. That
Now,
sounds like future Yrsa
what
problems.
is Max's, let's say, feeling about Yrsa's relationship to the Eye of Odin, or Odin's Eye, I should say.
Does he know?
I'm trying to think if he knows. Would I know?
It's not.
I mean, she's
secret.
not subtle about
Yeah.
it. It's not like, but she's not like proselytizing. But like, she's not. She has. If there's a symbol, like she probably wears it. Like you would have a cross or something. Like
Yeah, we have
Well,
probably some little
she-
round,
Yeah.
eye thing. Yeah.
concentric circles.
The
Yeah.
Eye of
Yeah.
Odin group feels very anti-hedonistic.
Well, I think they're just like, do what you're gonna do, but you got to give some of it, and in that thoughtful process, like do the hedonism and give some to Odin's Eye, like not like tithing because they don't get anything,
No.
right? But yeah,
Well, it's a lot of Tivoli's whole situation. Tivoli Garden's whole thing is like constant entertainment, constantly, all the time, a
Yeah.
lot of stimulation, and so I feel like if there is a space for Odin's Eye in there, it's like very unwelcome.
yeah.
Or it's like, this is a weird place. We have put a little chapel in the back of the.
Yeah, but I also don't want to turn them into like this prudish.
They're not. It's not like a prude thing. It's
Yeah.
just a like, if you would just stop and chill.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think to Max, the idea of
Stopping and chilling would be lovely.
like listening to your thoughts. Does Max want to listen to his thoughts?
I think he wants the opportunity to listen to
Okay,
his thoughts.
okay.
I think it's complicated. I think
I think he thinks he wants to listen
Yeah,
to his thoughts.
until it
and
actually
then he hears
happens.
his thoughts. He's like, oh, this
it's
is not for
oh,
me.
that's just the ocean. Damn. No, I think Max projects that he doesn't care for the Eye of Odin and thinks it's a waste of time, but also the idea of being able to sit and not think and just exist for a minute without having a million eyes on you sounds really, really nice.
Just the one eye.
Just the one. Well, the one made up of millions.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, you're welcome for that nightmare.
That's some nightmare fuel right there.
But yeah, I think that's where he's at
Okay.
on that.
All right. Great. And Yrsa?
Oh god, 9 of Cups reversed. So many cups. You're envious of Blank's success and have trouble hiding it. Why weren't you as successful?
You already picked me, so good luck.
Yeah.
That is true. I think
Well, I mean, in a competitive sense, your fighting is similar to the
I was gonna
dangerous
say,
racing.
I think that it actually is established based in the numbers that Sach is actually just a better racer than Yrsa is a fighter. Just because I don't have a 2 in that.
Well, but what's your?
What's happening?
Whoops, that was the wrong one.
There we go.
Thank you.
What's your strength?
I have a 12 in strength.
Okay,
It's-
so you have a +2 for that.
yeah.
And Nick has. Yeah, you actually rolled the same amount to fight versus race because you have a total of +3 and you have a total of +3.
Yeah, no, it's
But you're working on more natural talent and you're actually good.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and it all fits. It all like these characters are all built in a way that makes sense. But yeah, I think that also I think it's a little bit of this like Max probably approves more of Sach's like racing situation because maybe Sach is into getting the corporate sponsorships and into playing the actual
How do you
game.
feel about that?
Would that seem?
I don't think he's so. I don't think I'm so into the corporate sponsorships because I know that all comes with like they're golden handcuffs. Like there's a lot of money there, but it's also you can't do certain things and you can't wear this shirt that you want to wear and you can't go to this party and stuff like that because it hurts the brand and things like that.
Okay.
So I think that he's kind of opposed to that, but I do think that he likes the accolade and like on a, I guess, sort of an underground level, like without being like a professional racer, but he likes that everyone knows who he is in the circuit and sort of building a brand that way.
Yeah.
Like he has a certain move that he does all the time. You know, like once a race he'll do whatever
he did the
it
barrel
is.
roll.
Yeah. I
He
think,
didn't even need to. He just did it.
and
Ben
for
and Sach.
right.
Yeah.
Oh God.
and Sach.
And I think it's not
thank
not
you.
specifically that she's jealous of Sach's success. She's jealous of the fact that he has like this network of people, especially her brother, who like approves of him in this way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that it
Yeah.
might be more like. Correct me if I'm wrong, but more like you're jealous that he's just accepted the way that this.
Yes.
Like he's just sort of integrated into this life, and
Yeah,
you
and
know, it's
has
that success that he just
yeah.
feels comfortable with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not so much about like the actual act of the racing; it is how he's managed the society around it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That feels fun.
Cool.
All right. Now, the question we have been contemplating. Our group had a streak of bad luck and nearly ended as a group. Or maybe you almost all died. I'm going to leave that to you all. But the 4 of you were in it together, and a bunch of things went wrong. We don't necessarily have to list the whole thing, but the big picture, what was the scenario? What were you trying to accomplish? How did it go poorly?
I feel like at least 2 of us are possibly going to die every night. Just
I think races are probably less frequent. Prize fighting is less likely to die.
true.
But, you know.
Yeah,
It but it could also be, I mean, you have your own salvage ship at this point.
Right.
There are like chunks of planets floating around. If you got a lead on something or wanted to deal with one of the ships coming through in some way, we start to incorporate some of those things. Could be, yeah, all kinds of stuff. Medical emergency, or we could just include a medical emergency anyway.
What if there was an opportunity that Sach heard about regarding salvage, and it was at a low point when everyone needed a little bit of money. So I convinced you to come on and crew for me to help out on this, and then it ended up being we got out to the salvage, and we didn't have the right tools, but we were going to try and make it work anyway, and then another crew showed up, and then they were, like, there was some tense moments where it looked like it might come to shots or blows, or maybe a shot or two was fired, and everyone freaked out, and suddenly we had to back off and had something on, the mortality of living in space suddenly caught up to everybody regarding this kind of lawless place.
Well, how does that feel in general? Because I have something to add to that if it feels good.
Like a salvage gone wrong. Maybe
Yeah.
I love that.
No, I just need to know how Max ends up on a salvage run.
Right.
I'm not opposed to it, but
we just kidnapped you.
I know, I'm looking at my skills here. Like,
I mean, you are a decent electronics guy.
yeah.
So I think that maybe like that's I go to you for that.
You're actually the most skilled electronics person in the group. Like, you could be like that. That's kind of the sensors.
Yeah, I'm
issue,
right. Like, that
the
totally
way
works
I
for
have
me.
this set up. So,
But in terms of why, I think that maybe you needed to leave town for a couple of days.
Yeah.
There was something where you just kind of had to lay low, and the easiest way for you to lay low was not be around the station because no one would recognize you. This was a way for you to just get out of town and let whatever it was blow over.
yeah.
We just stowed away, like, halfway through this mission. We turned around and it's like, Max?
No, but I mean,
Well, I think he would come along as like he's he's like, maybe that's the thing people don't know about you, but like you aced all the sensor tests for some reason.
Yeah,
You're like, I don't know, this shit just makes sense. Like,
Like Hedy Lamarr.
yeah.
Very that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
Wasn't
I
she a
love that.
mathematician?
Yeah, she was brilliant.
Yeah.
She invented Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
cell phone technology.
Yeah, we wouldn't have
basically.
cell phones in their current form without Hedy
I
Lamarr.
love.
Right.
Thank you, Michelle. I love
Yes.
that reference. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm totally here for that.
so I think that, like, if that was part of the bad luck, that something happened and you needed to disappear for a couple of days, and maybe Yrsa got in bad with some, owed some money off of a fight.
I mean, more so, I don't think I would let him leave.
Yeah.
Fucking
Oh, that's true.
It would just be like,
Right,
oh
just
yeah, I'll
that.
go with you, whatever.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
because Yrsa doesn't have to fight every night.
No,
like, it's just
absolutely
No, it's
not.
not. Yeah, it wouldn't be an every night thing.
No,
the
it's not an
fighting.
every
you're not
night thing.
contracted. You're
Yeah.
you're just an independent. So
Yeah, but no, I would never let you leave this ring on your own. That would be insane.
yeah.
What
You're
trouble can I get
squishy.
into?
Well, we just found out.
We just fucked around and found out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I asked that question before the finding out.
That's true.
We were
Okay.
mid-fuck around.
So
So for Cece, was it Cece just needed a quick couple of bucks, or I
I
know
think
that
she
I
just
would've-
needed some money, and and Sach is a friend, and he's like, "Hey, we need a mechanic just in case." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah."
yeah, I mean, mechanic engineer, but also astrogator. Which,
Oh yeah, I forgot I have astrogation.
in regular travel, in regular traveler that applies more to like jump calculations, but I'm using it in terms of like navigating the chaotic mess of this star system, which doesn't have a star in it anymore. I just don't know what else to call it. Whole system doesn't sound great, so.
I think I've
system's
seen that
not better?
movie.
Yeah, ring system's not much better. Yeah. So, anyway, former star system has, and a lot of this stuff is tracked. Rise has a database you can subscribe to safely navigate all of the material in the system.
God, everything on their site is behind a paywall, right? Like
Very.
you get the first paragraph, and then it's like, if you'd like to read more.
Yeah.
And it's all subscription based.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you get 3 free ones like a
Yeah.
month.
Everything within like 100 kilometers of the ring is free, right? We want everyone to be safe. Here at Rise, your safety is our #1 priority.
God, I hate that.
I hate it so much and I love it.
Yep.
But of course, there are limits to our bandwidth and what we can offer to everyone. And so we need remuneration to provide that level of detail on the bandwidth.
So you get Rise for free, or you can pay a subscription and get Rise Plus.
Yes.
I am adding Punch a Rise exec to my list
Just
of
like
goals.
personal goals.
Just
Yeah.
personal goals for this
Yeah.
game. Stab a ship, punch a Rise exec,
Yeah.
preferably a CEO. Just throwing that out
I love this like subscription navigation data. I'm making a note. Like, this is so shitty.
Deliciously awful.
Yeah.
I do love like shitty future corpo villains. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love all of that vibe so much because it's so slimy. I do
and-
want to punch someone.
And not a lot of people study astrogation. And so this is a thing, like, you don't need to subscribe to Rise, right? Like, most people would. You actually are like, maybe there's like, it's like ham radio operators, right? There's like a
Yeah.
number of independent people, but it's a handful. It's like a dozen people who have your level of astrogation skill out of one, right? It's like almost famous level. So, you know, you're like, this is a like strong hobby skill that you have that means you don't have to subscribe to the nav data, and you can just map it on your own.
Okay. I like that.
But what I'm picturing as the actual crisis moment is you guys are trying to pull this thing in. You realize, like, this rock was bigger than you're like, okay, we'll go in there, we'll break it up into a couple pieces, bring it inside, drop it off at the forge, get paid big time, right? And you get out there and it was about twice as big as, you know, because you got a lead on it. Somebody said, oh, hey, I pinged this on my telescope. You should go out and grab it before someone else does. You paid a finder's fee. It was a whole thing. And you got out there and you're like, fuck, this is okay. Well, let's break it up and get as much as we can. And then it was already a difficult job, and you guys weren't sure how much you were going to be able to bring in.
It's like, here's our ship.
Right.
Here's the thing.
Yeah. You're like, well, that didn't work out the way we thought it was going to. But by itself, that was a medium problem, right? You're just like, oh, okay. Well, let's make sure we find the like palladium vein that we wanted to get out of this.
We'll knock that chunk out.
Yeah.
We'll take what we can.
But that would have required a great deal of careful, fine manipulation, take a lot of time. I think you all had enough supplies and air and everything to do the job to this level, because you would have packed extra, and you all are realizing, like, okay, do we want to, let's all agree, we're going to stick this out, we're going to get what we can out of this, and then we're going to get out of here. So towards the end of the job come in these screaming punks of just like with a ship twice the size of yours, and coming in and just saying, like, get out of the way, you're done, or we're going to wreck you. And you're trying to figure out how to, like, defend the situation.
Right. Load up what we can, but
Yeah.
not put ourselves at risk. And
Yeah. Would you have maybe, like, winged a rock at them to some extent?
Sure.
Because do you have blasters on your ship or anything?
I have a mount for them, but I do not have a weapon on there.
How would you feel about the kind of guns in the Expanse where it's like a machine gun, but it needs ammo?
The PDCs?
Yeah, the PDC.
Great.
Yeah, so let's say you've got a point defense cannon, but ammo is like, you gotta go to the forge and like print every bullet.
Right.
Like,
It's super expensive.
Yeah.
and-
So you don't want to use it if you don't have to. You've got a chunk of like rock that isn't valuable, and you're like, oh, let's wing it at them. But then it like broke apart. You got a hole in the hull. The four of you got back like in your vac suits, right? Because the ship is like decompressed.
Right.
And so there was like oxygen in the tanks, but you can't repressurize the thing, or couldn't at the time, right? And it's patched up now, but that feels like a hairy enough situation that would have
Yeah.
really bonded.
And had a moment of like everyone going, fuck you, I'm done.
Yeah,
Trauma bonding.
yeah, yeah. Like you got enough to basically pay for the supplies and repairs that it cost you to get out there to break even on the job, which is not what you wanted.
Right.
And those punks, I think maybe we're still trying to figure out exactly what ship that was, because they came out of nowhere so fast
Right.
that you didn't, like, even your sensor sweeps, you weren't able to identify them because they were running dark. So maybe that's a plot point too, is we want to know who these rock raiders are.
Sounds
Cool.
like a band name, Rock Raiders.
My brain
They
has
also do
only
that.
come up with Mad Max imagery, which is just a weird place to be.
Or the, what are they called in Firefly?
The Reavers.
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 Those
Yeah.
are very different, but yeah.
Yeah, not quite that mad, but like, yeah.
I am like what you said. Now I'm picturing someone in a vac suit being like flung over from one ship to another.
It's in my head now. It's not going away. I'm a very lo-fi person.
Someone in the backseat playing a flaming guitar.
Yeah. It's That's where it is now.
And we're wondering, how is it on fire in space?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a weird
I like it.
expenditure of oxygen.
Well,
it's
yeah,
quite
yeah,
a
I mean,
flex.
if you-
It shoots out propellant and oxygen.
Yeah.
So it'll
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
Weird
work.
flex.
Yeah. It's a weird waste of materials, but here we are.
But it's intimidating as fuck.
It's
Like,
Yeah.
There's never a waste of materials.
All right, you got me on that one. Okay, I think we have a good sense of what the wording. Our group had a streak of bad luck and nearly ended. I'm going to consider that nearly died,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as we're coming back with like 10 or 12 hours of air left, right, in your
Dying
vac
often
suits.
makes it hard to be friends.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
ancient wisdom.
But I also want to make it clear that it wasn't any of your fault that happened, because then that kind of like turns the group on someone, and I'm just not picturing the situation that way anyway. I just think, there was like a series. There was a bad, mechanical roll and a bad sensors roll, and whatever Yrsa was doing.
I just punch things. I am so not designed to go to space.
No, I think we had you out there like in your vac suit, like trying to like break, put the.
You were punching the rock.
Yeah.
Right.
Rocks.
Right.
Like, why is she punching
Right,
it? We have so many tools.
What I was thinking is, in the mission, we had Max on sensors, we had CC on astrogation, which was not only finding it, but also make sure that there aren't things winging towards us, stuff like that. And then you and I were, you were working under my supervision about how to break this apart and do this thing and
Yeah.
move that and do all
Learning
that
the
sort of
manipulators and
I don't know
the.
why
I'm
she
just
didn't
here to
just use
Bruce
the vibra
Willis.
sword, but
Yeah,
Just
why-
Bruce Willis in space. I'm gonna punch a meteor. It's fine.
yeah.
Like, it's good. I do have gun combat, etc. So there is a chance that I probably would have manned a turret at any point.
Cool.
I'm just Sal.
Great.
Here to
So,
be Sal.
so I don't know if anyone else like this, but the image I have is as we come in and dock, there's just sort of silence, and then everyone just walks off the ship for like a day and doesn't
Yeah,
talk to each
like-
other. It's just like,
Just lost in whatever your like indulgence is. Like,
We will never speak of this again.
Right.
Sleeps.
yeah, I love that. Because you came out of there in your vac suits, of like, wear a spacesuit for 12 hours sucks. Okay, cool. I like that a lot. I really like that. Okay, well, the next one that we're going to consider while we're doing our location questions.
stop.
The Hierophant right side up. Not inverted? I don't know how you say that. Uninverted. It feels like you should only have to say inverted, and if you don't say it, then it's...
Yeah,
I
that's
think
yeah.
there's,
that's how it
there's
is.
an actual word for it, but I just don't know it now. It's like standard or like
Okay.
whatever.
Rightsy upsy.
That's it. So good, I dropped the mic.
Oh, this is actually perfect. Fuck these cards, Kimmy. What is the one line that no one in the group will cross?
ooh.
Fuck off. These are very good.
I know they are.
That's what I'm mad about, is how good these questions are. Go to hell. I can't come up with questions that good. So, we're not answering that yet. We want to let that sink in. Let's start with Max Ego. He's
Oh.
been wanting to go first this whole time.
Apparently so.
Location, location, location.
Let's see. I've got the King
Oh.
of Swords.
Hold on. Wait. We need to switch to map view 2, I think. All right. So we have a couple versions of this.
I see.
Depending on what part you want to set this. So the location is not going to be the ring. It's either going to be Rise Corp, Tivoli, the docks, or the forge.
Okay.
Right? To wherever you want to place this, and then I'll draw it on the map.
All right, cool. An important connection in our location gets you what you need, but at a price. Who are they?
I feel like literally everyone.
I know, right?
Literally everyone in this fucking ring.
So first, well, I guess if you decide what, then that's going to say
Right.
where.
Right. I mean, I'm kind of torn between Tivoli and Rise Corp, because I like the idea of it being... actually, let's make it Rise Corp. I think it's basically like the commissary.
So someone at the commissary.
Well, just the commissary in general. So an important connection. Oh, an important connection. Someone specifically, I see. I thought it was just a...
But at this place. So, okay, so we're talking about the commissary at Rise Corp. How far along towards Tivoli or towards the Forge, somewhere in the middle? Where do you picture the commissary?
Probably closer to Tivoli than the Forge.
Yeah, because you got to buy condoms on the way out.
Well, yeah, duh.
Yeah. Okay. What shape would you like?
The
for
Forge just
commissary?
fabs them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a rhombus? I'm always a fan of a rhombus.
No.
Oh, I'll take a
Animal.
diamond.
Absolute animal.
You monster.
Actually,
Dare you request a rhombus?
yeah, diamond is fine.
I like the idea of like the Rise Corp commissary being available to everyone as like the place you can get.
Yeah,
like,
we
all of
invite
the-
everyone to
But-
partake.
Except it's like DLC. Like
Yeah.
anyone can can have the game for free. But if you
Yeah.
want the good stuff,
Yeah.
And it's like you can get goods from everywhere, but like Rise Corp commissary is the one that seems to be.
Oh, I've learned so much about Rise Corp today, and I
Yeah.
hate
I love
it
it so
even
much.
more than I realized.
But like all, major systems, there is corruption within it at that level. And so there's someone who you can bribe to line their own pockets to get you like the next tier up
right?
of stuff.
Yeah.
But
And who is your? What does it say there? You've got a contact.
an important connection in our location gets you what you need, but at a price. Who
Okay.
are they?
All right. So who do we know at the commissary that helps you out?
Oh no, this is another. This is
Oh.
a little offshoot. Is it? I know that Rise Corp is like very kind of. Everyone has their own space in the ring. Is it a network of commissaries at a certain point?
Well, I think they probably have vending machines around the ring.
They have vending machines.
Yeah.
What I mean is like because we have a guy at Rise Corp at this commissary who is like the main guy, but everyone kind of would know like if you're in like the Forge, there is a commissary at the Forge, and it might be part of a little network
Of Rise Corp commissaries?
of the people connected to this one in particular.
Oh, like a little sort of commissary black market.
Yeah, and they all call
Yeah.
themselves a commissary, but it's like mostly because this whole ring has come up around the Rise
Sure.
Corp anyway, so it's just the term
So, like,
we
people
started to
not in the
use.
know would ask where the commissary is, and townies would tell them, oh, you have to go to Rise Corp for the commissary.
Yes.
But townies know when you ask for the commissary,
You're literally looking for like a black market.
yeah, you're asking for the,
Like a-
extra crunchy chicken at the drive-thru, which was the actual thing in my town.
Wow.
The fried chicken extra crunchy was the KFC pot. I think it was the weed guy. I told you my friends all were potheads. Like, that's,
So, yep.
Yep.
But that is my suggestion for just more world building, but it does not have to be the case.
well, let's kind of put that on the to-do list in
So
case
wait,
we want to.
is it black market goods, or is it just like they're siphoning food out from the actual commissary to
I love
sell in
that
the
idea.
Forge?
My brain is just like, it doesn't, you can ask for anything. Anything. How or where they get it from, I mean, you can ask for certain things. Do you want
Yeah.
to know how you got them?
Right.
I feel it's a bit like Robin Hoodie, steal from the rich, sell to the poor.
Yeah. Yeah, Robin Hood-ish.
Right.
But hey, you're making something available to the poor that they didn't have before. So we do need a contact for this person. I'm suddenly picturing what's the guy who played Hellboy?
No.
Ron Perlman?
Was
Ron
Ron Perlman?
Perlman.
Yeah.
Is he objectionable as a person?
I don't think
I don't
so.
Okay.
I
So.
don't know
Okay,
well enough.
I try to keep track of those things, but so I'm picturing a Ron Perlman type, sort of like grizzled, gray, out of fucks, but it was a like Rise Corp lifer, and like got the gold watch, and was like, fuck this. And so he's still in it, but he is now generating his retirement fund
like Ron Perlman of Pacific Rim era.
Yes.
I was gonna
But
say
yes,
it's Chow.
But like a little bit down, like not as flashy.
Yes. Yeah. Not flashy at all.
Right.
Very kind of, like towing the Rise Corp line on the surface.
Right.
But is just like, F these guys, this sucks.
Name. I think we just call him Grazer. Grazer.
Okay, that's probably his real last name.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of title that would be. Officer, lieutenant, agent.
Yeah,
He's
it's not
just known as Grazer.
Yeah, I don't want to give Rise Corp like a military bent. So they're all like director and executive, or like all those like super bullshit corporate terms. Just to really dig into that. M. Gazer, great Gazer. Well, that's a different thing. I don't know why that's cracking me up. Okay.
Just that your gazer is stunning.
I am. I'm looking at something stunning with my gazer.
Thank you.
Okay.
Should have never let us back in the studio. That's what I'm hearing.
I have some regrets.
I have some egrets.
Okay, so the commissary has become a source of materials and whatnot. It's based in Rise Corp. It is accessible through a network of underground contacts around the ring. And yeah, okay, I like that. Cool. We can expand on that. Let's go Sach.
Okay. And we recently learned that the terminology is upright and inverted, or perhaps upright and reversed.
Okay.
Depending on what you want. And that is important because this is a reversed card, an inverted card. Who controls the resources in our location, and are they honest?
Okay, so first of all, which location do you want to focus on of the four?
I want to put this in the docks.
Okay.
I'll put this in my hometown.
All right, so we just need to go to map view 3. And then the names are mixed up again.
Right. I'll get those. We hadn't been to this map view yet.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Still, I freaking love that we have this map set up. That
Yes.
Kimmy set this up for us. So,
This is fantastic.
yeah. I really like having access to this, and that it just like live updates as I'm drawing on it. So, and then also later, like if we have a combat scene or whatever, you all can pull this up on your devices and like move your own token around and
That's amazing.
whatever. So it's
Cool.
it's pretty rad. This is just Google's Jamboard, by the way. It's not anything new, but incorporating it into the game required some extra steps that Kimmy went through for us. So that is awesome. Okay, so the forge. Oh no, you said the docks. The docks.
The docks.
What about the docks?
Who controls the resources in our location, and are they honest? And the way I want to answer this is I think that it is I think there is a consortium that controls resources in the docks, and they are honest depending on your definition of honest. Like honest in the if they're bought, they stay bought honest.
Okay, but
Like there's a certain honorability that everyone knows. If you break your word or you don't make good on the deal, then it hurts your reputation.
okay, let's try something on for me and see if you don't like it. That's okay.
Okay.
We have kind of like a council of families in Tivoli.
Mm-hmm.
What if the docks, like there are like underbosses and whatnot, but what if we have like one main boss in the docks?
Okay.
Because it feels like the kind of place that has that like grasping, the strive to be the one.
It has like a Tammany Hall vibe.
I don't know that one.
Okay. It's a political organization in the New York. It was known for being corrupt, run by Boss Tammany.
How dare.
I'm sorry. Known for being alternately virtuous.
Gross. I love it.
I love
I love that
much.
one.
But
I
it
love
did a lot of
Blech.
things. Yeah, it did a lot of things like controlling immigrants to vote, and so they'd vote for the right things, for the right policies. And what would happen is you'd get, the way that they worked was they would get all of the people to like support them, and then they'd use that position to put things back out to the people. So Tammany took care of everyone as long as they towed the line and did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Maybe slightly less sinister, but the docks are, I mean, that is kind of our option to be a little sinister, is the docks. So, I think the docks are the number one inflow of cash, because most people have to go through the docks to get to Tivoli or the Forge. And so lots of money is spent at Tivoli, but it's entertainment money. It's not like extortion and docking fees and all of that. So, I think just like every ship pays to come to the docks. Not everybody goes to Tivoli, right? Because now they're broke and they can't. But you know what I mean? Does that feel like a good balance?
Mm-hmm, I agree.
Okay, so then the context of your question again.
Who controls the resources in that location, and are they honest?
Okay, so I want to come up with this one person.
Okay. I'm going to say I want something that is not king or queen or monarch, and like it started out as like a joke, but now that's just sort of what you call the person who's in charge.
Oh, okay.
But it's not something that denotes like...
What about like regent?
Magistrate.
Magistrate's pretty good.
I like magistrate because that also is like, it's the sort of like phony highfalutin that I'm kind of getting.
What's the burger term? There's like an old...
The Burgermeister?
Yeah, Burgermeister is a... But that's almost too cute at this point.
Yeah. I like magistrate in that, like, whoever it is doesn't quite know what the term means. I want it to be something like, he doesn't know what the term is, like count. It's like, that's not the top one, you know that, right? He's like, I like count.
That sounds good.
Also,
or Baron.
A suggestion,
Count or
Baron.
Contessa, yeah.
Like, Baron's not a bad...
Yeah, Baron is good. We have utilitarian dockmaster.
Yeah, I feel like the dockmaster is somebody under the regent or whoever that is.
Ooh, Margrave?
Or the Marquis, like, he doesn't know what it means.
The Marquis is great.
Marquis,
I like that.
In the hierarchy of things you can be, Marquis is, like, fine, but
Yeah.
it's not, like, the top thing. It's not even, like, the second top.
Yeah,
it's pretty far down there, but, like, he thinks
But
the
it
term is
sounds
cool.
highfalutin.
It sounds good.
No one's ever corrected them because
Sounds
they
like you're
don't.
wearing a fancy
They don't
hat.
dare.
Yeah.
Yes, it sounds like you get a fancy hat.
He has a sash.
Yeah.
It's a little more
Yep.
subtle.
They're all about making sure that that everything happens right, that money comes in, comes out, products and goods happen.
Yeah, the
sort
Marquis.
of the Bismarcky.
Well, they support a free Marquis.
Yeah.
And people know that the
Okay, wait.
Bismarcky has what they need.
I
Yep.
must ask.
Yes!
I
I was trying to make sure this is the right person. I was thinking, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay.
I was gonna say, does he call it himself the Marquis? Because he just does not know.
Yeah.
how it's
Yeah, the
pronounced.
Marquis.
The
Yep.
Marquis. You're like, it's not even.
Marquis
okay.
of Queensbury.
Yep.
I also would have accepted Marquis, but spelled completely wrong.
Yeah, I was Markee.
Yep. All of those are good and terrible. Okay, so the Marquis. Let's.
And I think that like, I know historically there is a Marquis and a Marquess, I think, but I'm just going to have this be sort of a utilitarian, like a unisex term.
Sure.
So whoever is in charge when that changes is still the Marquis.
Feels like a half
I was
circle
saying Marquise
moment.
or something.
Marquis.
I was wondering if you had a rhombus. I'm kind of partial
No,
to...
nobody has a fucking rhombus.
I'm too queer to know what a rhombus is right now.
Rhombus are the best. It's like a diamond, but like...
Okay, I do know what it is.
It's a crooked diamond, basically.
I had a moment. I was like, too gay.
It's like a fancy... It's like a gay trapezoid.
Yeah. That's
I was trying to picture a gay trapezoid.
yeah, like when a trapezoid comes out, it's
Right,
like ready
yeah.
to tell everyone,
It
like,
becomes a rhombus.
hey everybody, I'm actually
girl.
I'm a rhombus. Oh my god.
So the current Marquis's name is Grun, Grun.
Okay. Is this the lead up to a pun?
No.
Okay, great. I don't go for that sort of thing.
Right.
Grun is his last name. His first name is Mark, so he's the Marquis Mark.
No.
No.
I'm actually vetoing that.
There's
X card.
your X card.
Yep. That's why it exists. Okay, so this I want to think about casting a little bit. I've got some thoughts, and we'll fill that out as we
Okay.
go. But this is definitely
I
a
always
person.
picture like a bricktop, from Snatch.
Yes, I was actually thinking of.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh God, his name just escaped me. Ray Winston.
The
I think he most recently was the guy running the Red Room in. He's in Black Widow, and he's done a lot of like British gangster type stuff.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's put that on the list.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I almost like the idea of somebody like less sort of like masculine, tough guy. Like almost turning it a little bit on, but I don't know what that would be yet. So I just want to think about that one.
Okay.
But the Marquis, M. Grun, whoever that is in charge of the docks. And sorry, one more time for me.
And are they honest?
Are they honest? Sort of.
I'd say they have a code.
They're
Yeah,
lawful.
a
Code.
I
a
think
code.
that's
They're
honor among
lawful.
thieves.
They're lawful neutral. They just
Yeah.
you have to know what the laws that they follow are.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, there are rules at the docks. They expect them to be followed, and if they are followed, they honor it. But they also, when they are not followed, will destroy
Also
you.
follow up. On
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Now, where in the docks do you met? Is this like, are they right in the middle? Are they towards one end or the other?
I think that they're more, like, not so much towards the Forge or Tivoli. I think that they're more towards where the ships arrive.
Yeah, so I picture that as kind of like right in the middle.
Yeah. And I think that whoever the first Marquis was liked to see the ship's dock because that was sort of like the lifeblood of
Oh,
their power.
sure. Yeah, that's fun.
And so then that just became, like, over time, that just became the seat of power.
Yeah, okay. I like that. All right, great. Thank you. Let's go to Yrsa. I'm trying to remember the character names.
Our location has this is the Knight of Swords upright. Our location has a respected leader whom we trust. Who is it, and what makes them trustworthy? I feel like we're all. Part of it is I just don't want to prescribe something to like the Forge, where Cece is from.
Well,
So-
I mean, it's still a discussion. But,
Yeah. But I mean, because I've spent more time thinking about my character. I feel like I want to elaborate a little more on our Council of Families in Tivoli.
Okay. So we'll flip back to Tivoli, and I think it's map 2.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, and I didn't switch the... Hey, but I didn't do it on 2 either, so...
Hey, all right. It's very efficient.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that there's, we've sort of touched on it a couple times. There are, like, I want to say 4 or 5. Is 5 too many? 5 feels like too many. 3 feels like too little, though.
But an odd number feels good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 3. And we know the
3.
families are big enough that there's, like, dissent, and, the people will make arguments, and...
Yeah.
I'm almost, what I'm getting is, like, and Tivoli Gardens is a, like, Dutch thing? Copenhagen? Whatever that is, if that's even a real place.
It
I've
is,
never
but
been.
not in the Netherlands.
Yeah. Okay. So, whatever.
On this earth.
Denmark.
Yeah, you don't know my setting. But with the family, I'm actually getting like this weird kind of like Greco-Roman vibe. Not that we need everyone in togas and have like ionic columns and whatnot, but
More like that mall at Caesars.
yeah, a lot more like that. But just that there are the families and those heads of families. Like it's less mafia, more like, yes, these families have a lot of power and they decide things, but there's less of the like leg breaking vibe.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, it's not. It's just people naturally start to kind of create their own little groups. I think there's definitely a little bit of competition between like major families, but they're not. It's hard because this is a place we've established doesn't really have law in the same way, so it's not like you can break the law because it's not there.
I mean, maybe more like Roman nobility. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes, I think that is more accurate to my thought process.
But yeah, what is happening here?
He's making
they're
a biohazard
nuclear.
sign.
Yeah, it's a problem.
The three families that
The triumvirate.
yeah, and they have a lot of power.
Yeah. There's three families. I think.
Are you making a joke about a nuclear family?
I wasn't. But we're all glad you said that.
I did not bring alcohol tonight.
Oh, it's okay. You won't need it.
I just want to say I really appreciate you putting Clara really far away from me.
I have a bowl
she
of.
has-
You know what I realized? I can throw these at you.
No,
now.
you may not. I don't have a lot of power in this room, but
Do not throw dice at Nick.
well, that is Kimmy would be annoyed. So that
I'll
is
use my own then.
I'll use my.
That's worse, right? You understand how that's worse?
okay. So
Dice envy makes big ones.
so I want you. Let's say something about one of the ruling families.
Well,
here.
what I was going to say before this all happened, we've established that Max was raised in one, Yrsa was raised in another for circumstances. There is a third family. They're generally considered the nice ones.
Okay.
I feel like there's a little bit of a brand with each of them. Don't know what that is yet.
Okay. Well, I can come up with a lot of that too, but if if
Yeah.
there's something specific that you want to color in, then that's fine.
But the big one that there's definitely one family that's like generally considered the one that's like the tiebreaker of the two.
Sure. Like less bad.
They're not even less bad. They're just less. It's sort of like Fey courts where unseelie and seelie does not mean good or bad. It just means
Sure.
one's going to be more likely to break your legs up front, but there's no leg breaking.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What if there is there's one family that is big behind entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
There's one family that's big behind services, like whether that's whatever.
Drugs, sex, rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the third family is about hospitality.
That makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
like that.
this is more the hospitality.
Yeah,
thing,
and the
of, like
hospitality
making
thing is
sure
like
people have what they need and
Yeah.
That everyone has
Selling
a good time
that,
and that
yeah.
there's no trouble. So hospitality is also like for whatever value of
security.
police and security there are, that's folded in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like where Clara's from or where Ursa's from is more like the leg breaking part of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
The enforcers, but like
There's-
the surface vision is
yeah, it's
this family.
yeah, in that there's definitely this like, oh, you're from this family, therefore you're more likely to be inclined towards this. It doesn't prescribe anything, but it is just the ring's been around a while, the Tivoli Gardens have been around a while. These sort of things, these reputations have started to kind of come out of that.
You said entertainment and then
Service.
well the hospitality is here.
Entertainment, and
Maybe entertainment is too broad. Is
oh,
that
services.
Services was
Yeah,
the other one.
with quotes.
Which, well, the way I was picturing that is all of the the workers,
yeah.
the people who make the stage shows and do things like that, but it also includes sex workers. It includes
Yeah.
I just
You know.
had a sad. I was like above the line, below the line hospitality.
yes.
Oh, I'm sad now. But yeah, and I think the hospitality sort of branch is the current let's say matriarch of that branch is considered sort of tempering force.
I'm
amongst the
picturing
other two.
the head of at least of one of these families is Angela.
Bassett.
Yeah,
Jolie?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Nailed it.
absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't know which one yet. It doesn't have to be the hospitality one because you're kind of working on that one.
I will take anything. I'm also really bad at celeb casting. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
never
okay.
do it.
That's why sometimes I like to sit on it and think a little bit.
Yeah.
So we don't have to fill all that in. Just Ron Perlman jumped out of my brain, so that happened right away. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure out some of that as we go. Also, I mean, just as a personal preference of mine, if services include sex work, I would really prefer to have a matriarch in that as well.
Sure.
Just for my own personal
I don't
comfort
hate
level.
all three of them being matriarchs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they could all
that's-
be women.
okay,
Like,
yes.
women are non-binary. It doesn't really.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
don't
not
really have
a
preference.
masculine
fine.
leader. If we, yeah, okay, that feels okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But yeah, the matriarch of it might even be just historically, just it's always been a matriarch, or that might just be the title they gave them.
Yeah,
and it just
it
keeps
could be.
getting passed down.
Right.
No one on the ring respects titles as we've used them.
I think that's one of the things people like outsiders notice right away. And it's like, you're a marquis of what? No, it's a marquis. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm the Marquis.
I'm the Marquis.
It's like there was a Tumblr post
What?
about like princess is just a title we use
Yeah.
and we've used it for everything, and so it's sort of like it's Marquis.
yeah.
So if there's sort of a Greco-Roman theme on here, are they sometimes called the Fates?
Oh,
It is
Yes.
now.
thank you.
You're welcome.
That gets a big title.
And fan casting for the head of entertainment, since that's kind of my family, would be Dame Emma Thompson, a la her role in Cruella.
Oh,
That
interesting.
Oh
That-
yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
We'll put up a setting document on the Google Docs and flesh this stuff out
Yeah.
offline. I like that a lot. Cool.
But yeah, I think to finish the thought out, who is it? What makes them trustworthy? Honestly, because if they weren't, the other two would get out of hand.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
been
hospitality is our main note is that they're trustworthy,
yeah.
right? And then we'll
Yeah.
fill that out.
We're not
later.
going like full Divergent or Hunger Games or whatever you want to call it with like
thank
the
you.
divisions of the families. It's just they've had to be because no one else was
Yeah.
going to be.
And it's not that the others aren't. It's just hospitality is the most trustworthy, and like everyone sort of agreed they're the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
It's not even unspoken. It's like a spoken thing of like services and entertainment get at it more, and hospitality steps in and be like, "You're both right.
You're both pretty.
It's okay."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll come up with a name later. You cannot ask me to come up with names on the spot.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But we'll put that in our document. And Cece.
All right. This is inverted, but I don't know. Is that stars?
Pinnacle.
Pinnacles. Our location was generous with someone, but they took advantage of us. What happened?
Oh, can this be the Forge? It feels like a
Yeah.
slam dunk, right? Okay. So the Forge was generous with. Okay, so a rise contract
A
is
rise,
easy.
yeah.
It could be somebody coming through who needed like repairs and supplies and then didn't pay up before they sailed off into the.
Or the Forge was generous with the Fates,
Oh shit. Okay, and
they took advantage.
Okay. And maybe hospitality was even overruled because the entertainment
Yeah.
and services were like, no, we're doing
No,
okay. Come on,
yeah.
let's. Yeah. Like, she can't be a tiebreaker if the other two are fully against
ganging
her.
up on you.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and
And-
one of those, one of the not rare but lesser
Yeah.
than frequent times that they agreed on one thing. It was
Yeah.
taking advantage of the Forge.
Yeah. Okay, so what did the Fates ask the Forge to do?
I'm trying to think of something like
Could be
making stuff for the casinos, or
it could be
you
an
know,
engineering challenge.
Yeah.
It could have been building a new structure, even because there aren't a
Yeah.
lot of new buildings. It's like cobbled together ships that just never left and have been converted.
maybe building a system of enclosed bridges from building to building.
Oh, yeah.
That would be, so that way people didn't have to mask up and whatever.
They wanted their, like, casino tunnels.
Right.
Yeah.
And they screwed us out of, like, some of the money for it, like skimmed off the top or something like that.
Interesting. Okay. It does seem like the Forge would have some recourse.
True.
Just in the public court. So I wonder if there's some way to spin that.
They took advantage of us. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, or maybe they sort of courted the contract, and like got some fine print in there.
Yeah.
That took advantage of the Forge, and entirely to their own benefit.
What? Why do you keep staring at me?
To go back on sort of our mythological past that we're building off of, what if it was like the...
well, I want to stop you. I don't know a lot about mythology, so I don't want to go too deep into that.
Sure.
But we'll, let's... Go ahead. I understand what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
The giant who was hired to build the wall for the Asgardians, and there was a codicil in here where the work was supposed to be completed by a certain day, and if it wasn't, then like there was a penalty, or there was some way that there was something that put in the contract that if the Forge didn't provide these tunnels by a certain date, and
then there would be a discounted rate, and
right.
And then services and entertainment collaborated to make it take longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they did it in an underhanded enough way. It was a successful shadow run, if you can imagine those words going together.
What?
Yeah.
We were talking about mythology, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, so we've got a couple layers of bridges and maybe a tunnel. I think there's probably already a tunnel system, and they were like, we don't want to go underground.
Yeah,
No,
we don't want to
because-
go closer to the black hole. We want to
Yeah.
stay.
Well, also
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but also this is the gem, this is the jewel, this is what people want to see. So you want to have it above and be
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yes.
not underground and utilitarian.
Well, and I was thinking like, oh, we don't want to be in the way of the racing, but we established the racing is is like within
Right.
the ring, and so it doesn't matter. We can build as tall as we want.
Right.
There could be structural issues at some point, but
Ring becomes spokes.
yeah, I mean it looks a little like that, because it's only 300 kilometers around, and so if you get up a little bit, you can see the curvature. I did the math on this because I did. On the street level, you don't really notice it, right? Because also there's just stuff around. There's like crates and carts and other buildings, and you can't really see far enough to see the curvature of it. But you don't have to get up very high to be able to see the ring curving away from you.
It's like the little prince where he scoots his chair forward
Yeah.
to watch the sunset.
Yep.
That's adorable.
There also is a visual, by the way, you can go up to the edge and look over and just look at the black hole. I mean, there's nothing stopping you. And the visual for that, it's actually not an excessive gravity situation, so we don't have all the like light bending warpy thing, but you don't see the rest of the ring, right? The black hole, you see about 3/4 of the ring, or maybe a little bit more, 7/8 of the ring, and then there's just this blank spot on that. You can't look all the way across the ring because of the 50-kilometer diameter event horizon in the middle. And so
that's neat, but I'm also imagining, you know how they have like the glass observation decks on skyscrapers and stuff?
yeah.
What if you had a big panel that was like that, but the entire glass, as it were, was like an AR thing that they could like project things on, like sort of a cross between the planetarium laser shows
Sure.
and like an AR experience, and like all sorts of things could go on there. So you could see, like, the simplest one would be they would show you a color shifted version of what the ring looks like in a way that we can't physically see
sure.
normally, but they would do, like a false
Yeah.
color
And I
impression.
imagine the visor of your vac suit probably has some of that stuff built into it, like a
Right.
weak version of it, and But you could go see the really impressive one if you wanted to.
Well, I was imagining this is for the tourists. This is a thing that
Yeah.
this is something that like townies don't generally do it because it's
Yeah.
whatever.
Like
I
when
can
you
do it
see people
anytime.
staring at the view screen, you're like,
Maybe you got taken on a field trip when you were in
Yeah,
oh
elementary.
yeah. Everyone did it in 3rd grade, and that's fine for 8-year-olds.
Very bad.
Okay, so where in the forge were the bridges crafted before being taken over there? I think like they probably built some of the framework here and then just floated it over.
Yeah, I'm gonna say maybe bottom left because that's closer. Because they'd have to go through the docks to get to Tivoli. So
Okay. And let's see, what kind of shape should we apply to that?
you have a rhombus.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do.
I was waiting for you to Google a middle finger so you can just pop that in there.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah. It's not available, unfortunately. This is confusing. I can't use another arrow. Oh, I discovered this. I can indicate what I'm talking about with the laser pointer.
That's cool.
So
That's very
It's
cool.
a full-ass laser pointer.
yeah,
I love that.
this is so cool. I'm gonna start using this for my classes, honestly, like in school. The pen has some good options. There's like a highlighter and a brush and whatever. It's just very
Just do a
basic.
Square. It's
Yeah,
fine.
just make the square.
No, now hold on.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
So I want to double check.
If you could draw
Yeah,
it with
okay.
a pen.
See, this is what I was picking, but that's a parallelogram. This is a rhombus.
I think they're the same thing.
No.
Yeah, because we tilt the rhombus on
It's
its
a
side.
parallelogram,
It's a
I think
parallelogram.
most things are parallelograms, and then like.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's just it not tipped over, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
This has been
So
geometry.
you could
with
just
Happy
make a
Jacks.
diamond and
You're
elongate
welcome,
it.
America.
You could just do a
We did
diamond
it.
and elongate it.
Good call. Good call.
Oh my god.
Let me see how it is. Michelle gets a rhombus.
Of course.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I'm special.
Fucking rhombus.
Fucking rhombus.
It's not what the rhombus is for. All right. And this was our like bridge building debacle.
So is the forge just like a lot of warehouses? Like I'm not like.
Yeah, think of it as like the like a factory district.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm picturing warehouses. I'm picturing like the equivalent of you know where like a car assembly line looks like.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like robotic arms, but they're not building cars. You know, it's just like all kinds of different resources, right? There's
Okay.
repairs. They build things from scratch. They, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, like the industrial section of any city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My heart had put lava pits in there too, but
I don't think we can do
think
lava
I can
pits.
Have lava pits.
That
it's
that
fine.
stretches credulity, I think.
No, it's fine. I just they're in my heart.
Okay.
They're here.
The lava pits of your heart.
The lava pits
Yeah.
in my heart.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that I was able to draw a rhombus all this time and just didn't.
Yeah, you were just being personally aggressive towards
Yeah.
Joey.
Oh, must be any day of the week,
Joey knows what he did.
and I don't regret it.
He doesn't deserve nice things.
Joey's never done anything wrong ever.
We know this and we love him.
Rhombus, please.
Okay, it's all rhombus all the time. Okay. So, we need to get through our last couple of cards. It's almost time to close down for tonight. So,
Lightning round.
what's that?
Lightning round.
Yep, lightning round. I like that idea. Now, we do need to, before we do that, what is one line that no one in the group will cross? I mean, I feel like cold-blooded murder is too easy.
Yeah.
So let's do better than that.
Yeah, I would, like my thing was like harming kids, but that's
Yeah,
also that's already
that's
in
a
our.
dunk.
If it's
yeah.
on our like lines and veils, you
yeah,
can't take
yeah,
it.
like that's. I mean, you all like
It's okay.
committing murder is not on our lines and bales, but I don't want that vibe for our story.
Right.
Now, if we get in a fight, and that's
Yes.
different, right?
Yeah.
But just like assassinations
self-defense,
is not the vibe that I want. So
Sell out to rise.
Exactly.
oh,
Yeah.
sell out
Exactly
to rise.
that.
Okay,
I like it.
never sell out to rise. Okay,
I was trying to find a way to phrase that, but very, very that.
okay. And now, lightning round of relationship cards, which we can do because there's only one person left for you to link with.
True.
So who's this for first?
Wait, do we have one more
I
thought?
don't even know.
Do we have a location card left?
No.
no.
No, but I meant like these.
you wanna
Do
do
we have
another
one more?
Yes, yeah, we'll do one more of these.
A lightning one.
Our group supports a set establishment. Who are they and why do we support them? Now, that doesn't have to be Rise, but this means somebody on the ring is a group that you support and probably supports you. We'll think about that. Or it can be X'd. Anyone can X the card as well. I'll draw a new one. Okay, but before we flip the card over, Yrsa, who do you have left to link with?
God, I don't know.
I like saying this part first.
Hold on, I gotta double check what I've written down. Max, envious of, Cece.
Okay, so your card for CC says...
You used to blank to get ahead. What did you do? They don't know. Do they know?
I used to what?
You used CC to get ahead. What did you do? Do they know?
How could you?
I
It's
don't know.
CC.
It's CC. I don't think it was. I think it was one of those like situations where it was CC or someone else I cared about.
Okay.
And I know. Stop guilt tripping me.
Okay, so what did you do? What did you do?
I stole equipment from you.
Ooh.
Okay, but CC doesn't know it was you.
I don't think CC knows it's me. I think. Sorry, I'm Jewish. We just had Yom Kippur. And I got yeeted right into the black hole.
Yeah.
No, I think Yrsa stole equipment from CC, or like it was something valuable or harder to get.
Oh,
than...
what if it was something from like the volunteer medic corps?
Yeah.
So it also wasn't like specifically CC's property, but it was shit that she was responsible for.
Yeah.
And you're like, this could go missing. It's not hers. It's not going to cost her anything.
Yeah, or I didn't even. Well, maybe I didn't know at first it was hers, and it was like, hey, you need to acquire this for your family for for Tivoli. So it's
Find a
coming in
place
this
to
way.
get one.
Find a
Yeah.
place to get it, and then it was like, oh well, this is here now. I wonder who this is, and then left, and then
Yeah.
CC like shows up later. It's like, oh, this was
okay.
mine.
We're going to call that an auto dock. An auto dock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say dermal regenerator, but not a doc.
Yeah.
Our auto docks are not the like magical heal anything armband of the Expanse, but they are very good, right? That they'll. It is. I do picture it as like a a glove or like it's something that you put on someone because it's something you can take to them, or you can get a nicer version installed in your ship. But it's basically like a fancy AED that'll, dispense meds, restart your heart, just basics.
Yeah, and it is incredibly hard to get. Or not hard to get, but it's pretty hard to get on the ring if you're not from Rise Corp.
Right. Or it's hard to get one that doesn't require a Rise subscription.
Yeah. And I think, and it was going to CC for jailbreaking,
Yeah.
and it didn't make it, and Yrsa feels really bad about it, and
Yeah.
it's been too long for
Auto
her to
dock
be
guilt.
like,
Yep. Okay.
To
Yeah.
say anything.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
and
good.
now it's been so long I can't say anything.
Because like the next day you could have been like, oh my god, I didn't know, I had to do it. I'm so sorry, I didn't know it was yours. And then a week went by,
Yeah.
and another week went by.
I'm gonna live with this guilt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that fester. Nothing wrong.
I love if this could have happened before the mining debacle.
Absolutely.
And then Cece like specifically did first aid for you, and be like, God, I wish we had that thing that went missing. Because that's poetic.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
kind of person
like
who just
that.
feels guilty every time they see an auto
Yeah.
dock now.
Okay.
I love it.
Excellent. Max, who do you have left?
Sach is the last one.
Sach, let's go.
All right, we got the Knight of Cups inverted. You suspect that Sach has strong feeling. Okay, we're gonna X this because we already established that's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
With
we
Sach,
don't.
which is mine.
Sach doesn't want the romance stuff. Red card. There you go.
All right, we've got the King of Wands. Sach convinced you to do something risky, and you did it. What did you do?
Prison.
Now, risky for
That was bad.
Max.
Sorry.
That's
What
a whole
about-
different level?
Would
of
you
risk.
try to get Max to like go out without makeup or something?
Well, see, I think that we have different definitions of what risky is.
Well, that's true. You're a ring racer.
Right. So I think that it was something physically dangerous that I don't think that's really Max's bag.
Right.
Did you get him to go on like a practice lap with you?
Yeah, and then he was co-piloting with me. I was teaching him how to do it, and
Yeah.
I took my hands off.
Oh,
And
you made him fly it
I made
for
him
a
fly
minute.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he freaked out and said, "Oh God, I can't do this." And I said, "Well,
Then we're gonna die.
I've got a hangnail right now. I can't. So it'll be a minute."
Do you have small craft or flyer or anything?
No.
Yes. I love it.
Fuck all.
I love it. Are you okay with this?
Yeah, I'm great.
Okay.
This sounds good.
We were in no danger. We
Right,
Were not,
no.
We were
Yeah,
not
yeah,
even
yeah.
on the inside of the ring.
You
but-
had it on autopilot.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me it was on autopilot.
And I think you know that now.
Yeah.
But it's still like a moment of like,
Remember his face?
oh, that's all recorded. It's not been publicized. It's just
No, no,
in
no.
your friend group text.
Right,
You
right.
know? This is in case we ever need it.
We have gifts that we send each other, though,
Yeah.
of just Max's face.
Well, and also like the publicly shared memes that like the general public is like, oh, Max is so cute or whatever. You like specifically share that in your group, so Max is forced to look at it.
Right.
You're all monsters.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
You love us.
Yeah, that's true. You're my monsters.
All right. Who's this?
This is for
connected to?
Cece.
Okay.
Cece is always sticking their nose in your business. What about you is so interesting?
Oh, I love that. Is that Cece? Does that fit okay for you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone loves a nosy best friend.
I'm tempted to make it to think like I've made some modifications of my ship, and Cece's always trying to find out what they are, and I don't want Cece to know if I can help it, because I consider them to be part of what makes my
Proprietary.
yeah, it gives me an edge in racing. And it's not that I don't trust CC, but if CC,
I mean, that auto dock went missing.
oh, that's nice.
Oh damn.
Oh, that's very good. But yeah, it's like, three can keep a secret if two are dead. So
Yeah.
I just don't want CC to know what these mods are. But
Okay.
CC is very curious because it's
Yeah.
obviously a mechanical change.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
it.
And who's your final link with?
My final is Yrsa.
Okay.
You want to try something. You want blank to try something new. What is it, and why haven't they done it yet?
Oh,
I
this
want
is
Yrsa to try
interesting.
something new.
So many things.
Oh, now something else I left out of the setting is that Rise is a source of like they actually have like vineyard, like greenhouse.
Oh.
And so actually good wine comes out of Rise because they want good wine. But the Forge is the source of like beer and mead. And they like deal with the Rise to get some hops and honey and like stuff that they wouldn't be able to get otherwise. And so they're wheeling and dealing, but Rise can't be seen making beer, right? So there's some of that going on. I don't know whether that factors in at all. It just made me think of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead.
I mean, maybe we have a mead that you haven't tried yet, and it's like my family's recipe.
It's like spicy mead.
Yeah,
Spicy
spicy mead.
Oh, actually, okay. I think this is just one of those dumb little things that pesters you throughout. I don't think Yrsa can handle spicy food at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've decided just now, and I think
I love it.
Cece's always just like, but try this.
Yeah, this one's not spicy.
This one's not spicy, I promise.
This is a one. This is a
This
one.
is a one.
Yeah.
Like, I think,
Oh, I love that so
Yeah.
much.
yeah, it's just a dumb thing that Yrsa just cannot do spicy
Oh,
foods.
I wonder if Yrsa just like is annoyed by the foofra that goes into food making and is like,
Yeah.
just give me my protein block. Like, this is fine.
Yeah, I think she's not a meat and potatoes kind of person.
Yeah.
Yeah, just no, doesn't want the
meat,
fat.
analog, and potato brick.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, every time Cece's like, oh, there's this really cool delicacy, and Yrsa's like, absolutely not. That sounds ridiculous. Why would I want this on a stick?
Yeah.
And there may be some weird concoction that's whatever you have left over, like called drop stew or something like that.
Yeah.
That is different every time.
Forged stew.
Forged stew.
Forged in darkness.
And it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But Yrsa's just a picky
The
eater.
forge fire.
Forge fire.
No,
It's just
that's
called
the-
cauldron.
I was gonna say, forge fire has
Like
to be like
crucible or
the
something.
wine
Yeah,
or
I
something.
want
Oh,
like
yeah,
to
you
scoop.
yeah.
I want to scoop a cauldron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that like gelatinous.
Yeah, and no one knows what's in it because it's different every time.
And it's
like
over time too. It's like it's almost like the mother dough. Yeah, it's like just adding a little bit to it.
Truly heinous looking stuff. It's
Yeah, this is
probably
a nightmare.
fine.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
just
nightmare.
gray and brown,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of it, and
It shouldn't go in people's bodies.
Fulfills all your nutritional requirements for
Yep.
the day.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm good. No.
They even like will dehydrate it and sell little cubes of it, you know.
and like
you know.
again, and because Yrsa, like her body is like her weapon and stuff. That's a terrible idea. Do not put the questionable substance in there. For her, it's fine. Cece, you can eat whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
I'm-
you want to try it.
Absolutely
You
not.
want a
I'm
little
really
bit.
looking forward to the heat being on, a violent moment, and Yrsa's having irritable bowel syndrome. This is my goal for the campaign now. Sorry.
I think I put it. I was like, heart, fist of steel, heart of gold, stomach of like. Now it's gonna be like
Yeah.
Foil.
stomach of aluminum foil.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. The stomach of rose petals. Okay, so we got all our relationship questions. Everyone's documented all of their notes.
Yep.
Okay, so our last question is: our group supports a set establishment, so it could be one of the Fates. It could be not Rise as a corporation, but someone else in Rise. But it would be a public note. It could be the Marquis. It could be someone who's challenging the Marquis. It could be
Could be something else entirely.
yes, yeah, but it is somebody that is known to the ring, right? So we can invent a new famous face. That is fine.
I had a thought, but I don't want to.
We can always
Put it
toss
in
it out there.
Based on our conversation just now, I think there might be a forge-based soup kitchen sort of situation, and it's just probably where Cece was working for the paramedic as a paramedic as well, and it's just a charitable organization that we might be able to lean.
I'm
towards
not
helping.
opposed to it, but I don't think the ring would have the kind of poverty, like that kind of poverty. I'm not saying there aren't poor people. Obviously there are. Like the people coming through, like have their ships and pretty much everything they need, and then kids and folks from different parts are like kind of like the forge takes care of their own, and you know for the most part.
And it's easy enough, for a crate to fall off of one of the one of the things.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I'm not
and
sure
keep in
what
mind,
the-
total townies, even though this place is lit, the footprint of Pasadena, the total townies are like 50,000 people, which is like Palm Springs.
Oh, okay.
So it's not everybody knows everybody, but it's a small town, So
You only have to play 4 degrees of Kevin Bacon here.
yeah. What's
talk-
bacon?
We talked about the quote-unquote commissary. What if it's them? Like the people that are working to take things from Rise and sell it to the people? And...
I'm fine. I mean, I went to the basic, to the basic bar. Like we know, that there's a hangout place, but
Sure.
I'm fine if we're sort of like
Well, I kind of
helping
want to.
back channel.
I kind of want to go a little smaller than commissary.
Okay.
I want to get like maybe a little bigger than bar, but like a local club or something, or like a particular faction of like the ring racer mechanics, something like that. That's a wild group that you probably don't want to be totally in bed with.
I'm
But
thinking maybe somebody like who's under the Marquis, because even though the code is what it is, it's still a code, and you know exactly what you're getting when you deal with the Marquis and his people, or her people, depending on who the Marquis is at any given time. Or their people.
So yeah, a Marquis, an underboss could be something, definitely. But it is.
We're on
Our group supports this set establishment, and we have to answer why, who, and why.
So what if we combine some of those ideas and we have a club that's owned by one of the underbosses?
What if it's the underboss's like racing label? You know, like.
Right. Like it's not a big corporate label, and so like Sach
and it's
would
maybe
be okay
who you
with that.
started racing with, and then went independent, but you're still friendly.
Yeah.
You know, because you like raced for Corvette or whoever, and then you're like, okay, I got to go out on my own, and
That you still have relationships with. Yeah. And I do a lot of work for their racers.
Yeah.
And
but it's this underboss's like racing hobby, right? Whoever they are. I don't want it to be the Marquis, but do I have to say Marquis?
yes.
You have to say Marquis.
You have to say Marquis.
I'm going to say Marquis when I'm dealing with it in character.
That's
Okay.
fine. That is
Fair
fine.
enough.
I cannot make my mouth
You can
keep
always
saying that.
make it Marquis, but misspell Marquis.
That is
That's
true.
worse. That's worse.
Because you would know in your head it's
Yeah.
spelled wrong.
Yeah. I'm more of a spelling snob than I am a, like, pronunciation snob. Both are completely arbitrary and nonsense, but here we are. Okay. So, Nick, can you bop us back to the frame view?
Absolutely.
And I think we are ready to say our goodbyes.
I think so.
So let's start here with Michelle, not Cece. Sorry. Yeah, and scene.
All right. I have been, and I will continue to be, Michelle Otis. And you can find me on Twitter at Mishulu. And you can also listen to me on 12-Sided Stories podcast on any podcast. That's a nice one. On any podcast platform that you listen to.
I think that they call them plodcasts when they're not interesting and fun, which means 12-Sided Stories will never be a plodcast.
Aw, thank you.
I am Nick. You can find me online at Sungrowler on Twitter if you so desire to do so. The only thing I'm doing besides that currently is this. So tune in and see me on Mondays or listen to me on whatever day of the week that you listen to podcasts.
Hey guys, I've been Joey. You can find me on social media at Feywild85, FEYWILD85. Aside from this, you can catch me and these two jamokes on Jason's Twitch channel every Sunday at 2 o'clock. We're playing Demigods Media Storm, where Clara and I get into all other kinds of bullshit trouble that we create for ourselves and completely different characters. And yeah, that's all I got. Someone else talk now.
We managed to put fairies in every game we've played now. Hi, I'm Clara. I am all over the internet as clearly_golden, unless you're into mermaids, in which case you can find me on Instagram as mermaid_clarity. Joey stole my thing. I'm here every Monday, and I'm on It's Probably Okay, twitch.tv/It's Probably Okay, where like some dude runs this weird game, and I play that every Sunday. And otherwise, I'm just around vibing. Who knows? The best way to find out is if you follow me on Twitter. If I remember that I have a Twitter every once in a while. Somebody else talk.
All right, it's my turn to play us out. My name is Jason. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at It's Probably Okay. I'm also a huge fan of the 12-Sided Story stuff. I know we have a lot of, there's this whole like Happy Jacks podcast, so you're already listening to a podcast, potentially. You should check out 12-Sided Stories. Honestly, you're missing out. This is one more podcast you need to add to your list. There are a lot of podcasts you don't need to worry about. There's Happy Jacks, 12-Sided Stories. I guess.
I can't think of
like,
any others.
Whatever. So.
I feel like I'm betraying, but I'm not on I'm not on Queen's Court anymore.
Oh, I didn't know they had a podcast thing.
Queen's Court Games is entirely podcast.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have to put on pants.
Oh, right on.
Guess I
Yeah.
still technically don't. You can't
To
say
hell with
that, right?
pants. Okay. Yeah, so I'm running Demigods on Sundays. on It's Probably Okay, the Twitch channel. And I also stream Wednesdays and Fridays. And I keep threatening to come back Saturdays. Saturdays I might be taking a break. So, just come hang out. Watch my Twitter for announcements.
I get Saturdays free, and then you stop doing Saturdays. Thanks.
What's a break?
I know. What?
What's a break?
Yeah, I don't know.
This thing that stops your car?
Anyway, we hope you will join us for the next session of The Drop here on Happy Jack's RPG. If you want to catch up on past episodes, aka this one, you could go to happyjacks.org/thedrop. Which is live and available now. There just aren't any episodes there because we just made it.
We made it!
Yeah. And in fact, all of the previous and currently running APs are available there on happyjacks.org. And that is a good place to go check out what's going on. So thanks so much for joining us live or later, your only two options. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in the calendar.
But our mics are on? Oh, yeah, I think we're sending.